Face front, true believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize Podcast, a podcast where we talk Marvel's comics, movies, merchandise, and more. I am your host, Boingo Writer, and with me, as always, in the bullpen,
representing the human competition, the Vacuuminator is here.
You're all alone now. Oh no, wrong button. There we go. Oh god, everything's fucking up right now.
Oh no!
I'm gone. No, I'm here. Never mind.
There we go.
Watching...
Everything's okay for the moment.
I'm watching it through the YouTube VOD. So
Crisis on multiple boingos tonight on No Prize Podcast.
Yeah. Tonight. Do you know where your children are?
At least they can hear us right off the bat.
Yeah. Multi-boingo madness. Yes. Hi. We didn't do an episode last week.
Calvin, Aki, welcome to the chat.
Calvin, Aki. Where the Okay, hold on, Boop. Is this where I want? No.
You can't even get the chat.
There we go. Boingo.exe glitches.
What?
That's been most of this night. You have no idea.
Yeah, Boingo has many glitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boingo is king glitch at the moment.
I just made a comic pop reference and you didn't even bat an eye.
I mean, we make like 10 comic pop references per episode now.
There we go. Hold on, let me double check. Boom. 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 Okay, we're good.
And Buster died.
Buster's dead? Did Buster really die? Did Buster say anything?
Buster left the call. What's happening?
Should we wait a moment?
I'm gonna at them.
Buster. Oh, dear God. Dear Lord Almighty.
They're still online.
Yeah.
So this isn't like last time when they just totally disappeared and I was having a racist panic for a minute.
Buster busted and bust.
Buster is indeed busted, Kelvin.
Bustin', feel good.
Yeah, that Neil Cicereg.
Oh God. Okay. Should we wait for Buster, see if they come back?
Bro, I don't know.
Oh God. Everything has been. There's Buster.
Buster's back in the call, everybody. What happened?
Are they able to talk yet? Maybe they can't talk right this moment. Yeah, they're muted.
They unmuted for a second. What is going on?
We'll figure it out. Higher altitude? Hell yeah. Buster's unmute. Buster's mute. Buster's.
Aki, are you experimenting with the drugs? Is that what's happening right now?
I don't think that happens much in foreign countries. I think it's just privileged white people shit that get to do that.
That's fair. That's entirely possible. All right, Buster. If you're not going to confirm your okayness, we're going to have to move on.
Yeah. Where does he go? I think what might be happening is Buster might be okay. Buster is fine.
We're getting in chat combo.
Yeah. Buster is fine. Glitches.
Oh, Buster's having glitches now.
Jesus.
Am I the only one with good internet for once?
I don't know if Buster's headphones might be going goofy, because that's happened every once in a while. Headphones and mic being the goof, being the goof troop.
Well, anyway, I have an audience here. I should probably mention that this podcast is brought to you by Modular Media, and if you want to keep up with it and all the other shows we do on this channel, you should help us out in the algorithm by giving a like, commenting down below, subscribing, and ringing the bell in order to enable notifications. Follow us on Twitter at the Modular Media and join the subreddit r/Modular Media. Buster, did that buy you enough time?
They're still muted, so I'm guessing no.
Oh. Aki's literally just walking up a hill.
Walking up a hill. Fair enough. So maybe the pure power of Spiderman will activate it
It's
for
entirely possible.
Buster because we had some time and we thought things would be a little bit different. So we're talking about Spectacular Spiderman.
Because it's on Netflix and everyone can watch it right now if they still have a Netflix subscription, which is actually probably not a lot of people now that I think about it.
Yeah. But this was partially a Buster idea. We were gonna do season 1 last week and then season 2 this week, while Vac was kind of away and kind of not. Like, it was a very nebulous time for the podcast.
Yeah.
Buster's
But
typing.
you didn't do the episode,
Nope.
and now Buster's mic isn't working. Okay.
Plug it in and plug it out.
Yeah, get in them settings, boy. But basically, you guys were gonna do separate seasons, so I could like join you for the back half of the combo. But
We
plans didn't work out.
So we're just doing the whole series. We're just talking about all of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Because it's 2 seasons, and honestly, it all kind of blends together.
It's a really well done Spider-Man series.
Here's the thing about this show, because I watched this show as it was airing back in the day, and then I hadn't watched it since, and I binged it on the way down to Florida and a little bit after. I have never cared for this show's art style. I've always thought it was just a little too exaggerated in certain spots. And the animation, I feel, hasn't aged well, particularly in some of the action shots that are trying to feel very fluid, but are just a little too chunky for the time, and even compared to now. But the writing and the voice acting in this show is so strong, and the characterization and the mix of different elements from different versions of Spider-Man is so interesting that it manages to keep me invested the whole way through. And honestly, this just feels like what I would do if I were to make a Spider-Man show now, with the exception of a few things I think they were planning to do and didn't quite get to.
Yeah. The best way I can describe this show is very simply, you got Brian Michael Bendis and my Steve Ditko.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like, hey,
a little bit.
What if we just took all the original Ditko Lee stories and just Brian Michael Bendis them?
Yeah, just spritz in a little bit of Ultimate here and there. Like they're very clearly committed to Ultimate Venom. And that's not a bad decision, honestly.
Especially when they're trying to do a Spider-Man completely separate from the Marvel Universe. Which I am always against. Spider-Man is a Marvel Universe character.
But there's enough Spider-Man specific shit now that you can make it work.
Yeah.
This wasn't entirely supposed to be separate from the rest of the Marvel Universe. This show, okay, so Buster's shit just isn't working, and they're going to be in the YT chat. But this show, Wolverine and the X-Men, and Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes were all supposed to be in continuity with each other, while not being like super tightly knit.
Yeah. Supposedly being in the same continuity and being in the same continuity are not the same thing.
That's true.
To utilize in terms of the comics, here's the thing. Considering Spider-Man's history, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Spider-Man has rubbed elbows with everyone.
That's true, because Spider-Man like very quickly became Marvel's poster boy and has largely stayed that way throughout the decades.
Because it like this does get some of the like, if you're just talking about the solo Spider-Man stories, this hits it to a T. But to me, like, it's not necessarily like even a criticism. It's just more of like, I prefer Spider-Man when he has a science problem. He goes like, I know who to call, Reed Richards.
That's fair enough, but I also feel like in this story, Dr. Connors works as a good fill-in.
Yeah, but like, it's Reed Richards.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you were gonna do Spider-Man in the MCU and like say you have all the characters right off the bat. You don't have to worry about licensing and stuff with the MCU. Yes, I would have the Spider-Man movie feature him working in Reed Richards' lab. But if you're doing just a Spider-Man story, you only got Spider-Man characters at your disposal. It's a very smart choice.
Oh yeah, no, okay. Here's the thing: every choice that is made is a smart, intelligent, creative choice.
Mm-hmm.
I just prefer when they can make the other choice.
Okay, that's fine, but like we're talking about this show.
I know.
Yeah,
but
probably, Buster says it's probably the best show next to the '90s one, and I would agree with that. But honestly, aside from the fact that this didn't get to go as long as it did and doesn't have a definitive ending like the '90s show did, I would put this above the '90s show.
I would put them at equal footing because they both are aiming for different things. The '90s one does the Spider-Man that like he runs into Daredevil and goes like, "Whoa, who the fuck are you?" Yeah. Well, this is a Spider-Man story.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, there's a lot of little changes, especially considering like the street level crime in this show that feels very, very smart and inventive. Like, for some reason, they just chose not to do Kingpin, probably because he was in the '90s show so much. And so, what do? You do the most with fucking Tombstone that anybody had done up to that point.
And it's a good ass Tombstone.
You want to actually include the Enforcers, and you want to have Shocker in there for Sinister Six. What do? One of the Enforcers is Shocker, and because as much as he's my boy, nobody gives a fuck about Shocker, so it just works.
Also, Spider-Man Unlimited, yeah, peak Spider-Man right there. Peak Unlimited. Peak Spider-Man.
We'll never escape that show.
Spider-Man hanging out with a bunch of furries.
Spider-Man with a rat lady that wants his junk. My favorite. I much like in Spider-Man comics, especially the classic stuff that everybody remembers. Going back and reading the romantic subplots in those, that can actually get like a little grating at times. In here, it all just flows and feels so snappy and just like, yeah, this is the natural way to go. Like inevitably we were going to run into this with the fact that this show got canceled before its time. Do you think they would have ever gotten to the Green Goblin killing Gwen?
I don't think they would have done it the way 616 would have done it. I think they would have gone the ultimate route. Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is like Mary Jane is in this show and they do that iconic moment, and you're like, for a second, you think they're going to get them together instead. And then the rest of the show is building towards Gwen and Peter, even with MJ being there trying to set it up. So it's like, what's this show ever going to go for that full on? Were they going to make their own continuity where it's fine and it all works out? Personally, what I think is they were gonna do clone shit with Professor Warren in season 3. Maybe. I think we were going straight for that before we went for Green Goblin.
There's always possibilities, but we won't never know because never got a season 3. It did end in a not necessarily satisfactory way, but it didn't necessarily end in like all of a sudden, like it didn't end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it ends like any other episode of the show ends, which is just like the plot's wrapped up for the moment, but there's always going to be more. Like it's that serialization feel that you want with a Spider-Man story, because ASM was always very serialized storytelling.
It was always tune in next time. Mm-hmm. Like that was Stan Lee's biggest fucking like strength, was always knowing we need to get them for next time.
Yeah.
Ben Grimm's never going to be healed. Spider-Man's life is never going to be perfect. Tune in next time. See if it can.
Yeah. Which is something I think this show does very well without ever having it feel like impossibly bullshit again. Mm-hmm. Like I dig the early struggles of Peter and him like having to make inroads in the city and get to know people.
Yeah, I appreciate like a lot of little things.
Like the Daily Bugle cast is so fleshed out in this show, and I wasn't expecting that going back. Like,
I think it's
somehow
just because
forgot about that.
they took the best Bugle characters from all the years and just went like, they're all here,
Yeah.
every single one of them.
Like fucking Patches in this show.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that going?
And pretty good J. Jonah.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons playing him
It
again.
feels like it's just doing the movie version, but like the movie version has moments of calm and normalcy. This he's just always mad. He's always yelling about something.
Unless
like,
unless
does
it's
get a
about
little
his
grating
son.
on it. Yeah. That's like the one time he calms down. Is when his son's
No,
in
there's
trouble.
one other time when Aunt May has a heart attack and everyone's going like, "Oh shit, we need to tell Peter." Has anyone heard from Peter? And he just goes like, "I'll call Peter." Like he gives the kid a hard time, but he sees that kid as like, no, he's my pet project.
Yeah.
I'm building him to be a better man. I personally really enjoyed those J. Jonah Jamesons.
Yeah, there needs to be more stuff like that. Like I feel like we could do with more stuff like that in general, but then like the fact that it's so few and far between is what makes it so great when it happens. Like there's that issue from the Spencer run, there's him finding out in the Ultimate continuity. And those are like the two big moments I can think of in the comics.
There was the one conversation Chip Zdarsky wrote where basically Spider-Man and J. Jonah had like a conversation finally like letting out all the grievances they've had with each other.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was from the Spencer one.
I think it was Spencer, but it might have been Chip. I don't remember.
Okay. Maybe it was like
it was either Spencer or Chip.
Something Chip did in response to Spencer revealing the identity.
That may be. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure. But
and we don't have immediate access to the Marvel Wiki at this point.
No. But no, it's good, solid, well-rounded things. I like I like how they pick and choose because it is between the Lee Ditko and Brian Michael Bendis kind of vibes. So they pick and choose, like Toombs is very kind of like he leans a little bit more on the classic Lee and Ditko side. The look of Goblin is very much classic Goblin. It's not Ultimate Goblin.
But then that Doc Ock feels very Bendis Doc Ock.
That's a very Bendis Doc Ock. That's a very I would say a Bendis-y Electro. Chipper who revealed, but Spencer who worked with it. Okay.
So we had it backwards then.
Okay.
Thank you, Aki.
Yeah.
But I also want to say like I really like how developed the school cast is too. Like this feels more than anything I've ever seen of Spider-Man. Like counting Ultimate, this feels like a Spider-Man who goes to school and has a life at school.
Mm-hmm.
Like school is kind of like a footnote in most Spider-Man things, and it's like a tangent in Ultimate Spider-Man. But this is like no, school is kind of like where half the plot happens, and you feel like most of these people are real characters, except for that one girl who's the blonde cheerleader girl who just feels like a really dated caricature of cheerleaders.
Yeah, but like she's there to be the bad habits of the popular kids.
Mm-hmm.
She's just meant to like exemplify those aspects because Liz has
in the comics
probably.
Okay. I didn't recognize her name, but I was just like, I don't know you, so you feel very grating yelling about this kind of stuff. But with Flash, I'm like, it's okay because that's Flash's character, and I know he's going to arc out of it. Yeah, and he does start season 2.
Similar thing with Liz Allen.
Mm-hmm. But Liz is like nice to Peter from the get-go. Like you
unless other people are there.
Yeah,
and then she's an asshole.
Mm-hmm. But that's more of a statement about peer pressure than it is about cheerleader culture. I feel like.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the whole group feedbacking toxicity with each other.
Yeah, and then again to get back to just outright positive characters. This is the best version of Gwen Stacy that doesn't have spider powers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like just she feels so much more like a real person. Like classic Gwen is very much just girlfriend, And Ultimate Gwen is very much like Bendis's idea of a teenager acting out, whereas like no, this is just the childhood friend archetype, but with a little bit of tweaking here and there to fit the friend dynamic that they have going in the show, and I really dig that.
Yeah. Here's the thing though, like Gwen early actual Lee Ditko Gwen was a sassy asshole. She was sassy.
Yeah.
She didn't take shit. You know, she would snap back with clever retorts.
Yeah, I need to refamiliarize myself with that stuff, I guess, because I haven't read any Lee Ditko Spider-Man in a long time, outside of when we did ASM a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
or
they
AF.
Yeah, but they really they take a lot of visual cues from the Ditko Lee era.
Oh yeah,
that whole episode where he just is underneath the stuff is just direct panels.
Or the fact that every issue ends with the spider taking up a big blank space. That's great.
Yeah. Also, just like little elements that have just kind of fallen by the wayside of Spider-Man, the spider signal.
And I love that. Oh god, what is it? I love how they start experimenting around with episode formats in season 2. Like you have that episode where everybody's talking to a camera about Flash, and you find out it's for his birthday.
Yeah.
Or like the one that's got all the Shakespeare intertwining with it.
It definitely feels like to kind of show that if it got more time, would do more interesting things.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. It just didn't get the time.
Though speaking of that Shakespeare episode, I love the twist in that episode. That feels more impactful than anything in the actual 2-part finale, because it comes right before that. But it has like something way bigger, I feel like, than any of the Goblin stuff, which is just you find out that in this show, Black Cat's dad is the one that shot Uncle Ben, and I forgot that on somewhere between the original airing and this watch through. So I was like, holy shit, that's an awesome idea. And like the suspense between Spidey and Black Cat the whole rest of the episode is just delicious.
Oh yeah. Yeah, hell, Boingo and Boingo VTuber, because human Boingo was having technical issues, so this robot fella over here had to step in.
Yeah, he downloaded the entire Marvel wiki and then just uploaded his visage.
Like I didn't already have it downloaded.
Well, I mean that's the continuity explanation, because Human Boingo is supposed to be another character, correct?
If we're just gonna break kayfabe, both Boingos are a fan of Marvel.
all right, that's canon. Add that to the wiki. All right.
Here's the thing. You talked about like not liking some of the designs. I think the designs are perfect for a toy line.
Yeah, and there was a whole action figure toy line for the show. I remember it being on the shelves and thinking the Venom figure looked awesome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bothered by stuff like, I think Peter's face looks like a chocolate chip cookie for some reason.
Hold on, let me pull up the Peter face. I mean, I can see it.
And then Hammerhead doesn't look enough like he has a flat top head to me. Like that really bothers me.
Sure.
Especially because there's a moment where he does the Hammerhead thing of running into a thing, and Spidey's like, "Whoa, you could do that the whole time?" And I'm like, "Whoa, you could do that the whole time? I thought your design was that way because you didn't have the implant yet." But no, that's a thing. And I'm trying to think if there's other things to talk about.
Good Lizard. Like all the villain designs are pretty top notch.
Oh yeah, there's some great stuff with. I also just love the plot line, the justification for villains of it's Tombstone creating villains to distract Spider-Man from actual crime. Like that's brilliant. That's something that should be in more versions.
Oh yeah. That honestly, that feels like a Batman plot.
Yeah. I could totally see that. Great version of Sandman. I feel like we should definitely mention that. Like that episode where he's just like, I'm just trying to get money so I can get away from these weird fuckers. And then he ends up destroying an oil tanker, and he has to fix his own problem and ends up creating a way to get out of the life, at least temporarily. Like that's a great episode.
Sandman should always be given a chance to be a good guy. That's like Sandman 101.
Because never forget, your boy Flint Marko was an Avenger.
Yeah. Never forget, Sandman was an Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Marvel editorial wants you to forget.
Yeah.
But hey, this issue of Amazing Spider-Man we're going to be talking about this week doesn't forget. Yeah, he was an Avenger. I think it was mid to late 90s.
Yeah. Because they were just trying all kinds of shit back then. Like that was the point when Doc Ock died, and they brought in the female Doc Ock, who nobody wants to use anymore.
Hey, they use her when teamed up with all the other lady villains.
I feel like that's probably the most sexist thing Marvel still does.
I think it is meant to be a commentary on girl power, girl boss.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah.
No, Spectacular's it's a spectacular show, and you should all go check it out if you have access to Netflix.
Yeah, good spitters, good spiders.
And I mean, it's one of the most easily bingeable things I've seen in a while, considering it came before the time of binging being a thing. Like,
yeah.
I would sit down and be like, I have time to watch 2 of these, and then I'd watch like 5 or 6.
I think by the time 99 was happened, Mark Waid was writing Avengers? Or was it Waid or Busick?
I have no idea. I'll check.
Who wrote Avengers Ultron Ultimatum? That'll tell me.
That was when Roger Stern was writing the book.
Okay, Roger Stern. Why? I always think that's my problem. I always think, late 90s, good comic, Mark Waid, Kurt Busiek. It's one of those two guys.
I mean, they're good writers.
They're good writers. Hey, guess what? We have a lot of fucking news. Let's get to it.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I need to address a thing.
Vac addresses his enemies.
Yeah, that's the title of this episode, really, because so for those of you who don't know, the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow trade came out a couple weeks ago, and I admittedly have not gotten my hands on a copy yet, because the person who distributes for DC screwed my local comic book store over and just lost my pre-order. So I had a conversation with them where they were like, if you don't want to pay for it, that's fine. And I was like, no, I pre-ordered it for you guys. I don't want you to lose money. So here. And then I spent an evening trying to find the cheapest place I could buy it online, which is InStockTrades.com. They have it for 40% off at the moment. So I've now ordered it through them, and we'll see when that gets here, because I've never ordered from InStock before. But this trade is something that I think a lot of people have been looking forward to if they've read the book and enjoyed it, because Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is a tremendous book. Even people who aren't Supergirl fans are raving about it. Like, Tiffany did a whole back issues on it and like basically said everything I would say, except for like a few fanboy things here and there. And a lot of people have been looking forward to this coming out because we want to buy it to support the book and show DC like, hey, Supergirl can sell if it's just written really well. Because a big thing with this book is it's only 8 issues. Tom King normally gets 12 issues. Why is that, Tom King? And he said DC told him that Supergirl wouldn't sell more than 8 issues, which is fucking ridiculous considering how long some of the books have gone before. But we we were buying it in the hopes that we would also get a hardcover edition because it is a beautiful book. Going beyond just the words on the page, Bilquis Evely's art in that book is fucking phenomenal. Probably some of the best art Kara has ever received. But for some reason, DC only decided to do a paperback. That paperback is now in people's hands, and we found out that not only has DC just done this bare bones edition, but they've completely fucked it up. Some of the copies are just arriving damaged out of package, like just immediately all warped and weird looking. The paper is a substandard quality that I'm told is similar to newsprint. A lot of the coloring, the contrast is like weirdly cranked up compared to the way it looked in the actual single issues. And for some reason, on just random pages, the bottom panels are blurry. Like full on, like out of focus camera blurry. I've seen images, you can go find them on Reddit. It looks absolutely terrible and abhorrent, and it's really upsetting, not just because this great book got treated this way, but because this might be the only chance we ever get to buy it as a trade, and fuck it, I prefer to collect and trade. I don't have a lot of floppies in my possession. So the fact that probably the best book about my favorite character ever made has gotten treated this way really fucking upsets me. I'm going to tell you what. I don't know what to say because I can't recommend, like, hey, go buy this substandard thing in the hopes that we'll get a good version. Like, that's fucking crazy toy collector talk right there. The only thing I can say is if you have not read the book and still want to read it, go read it on an online service of some kind. I'm told the first 7 issues are currently available on DC Universe Infinite. Or if you have other websites of a certain kind, you could go read it there. And if you do like it, buy the trade on the cheapest place you can find it. Go to instocktrades.com. I can't speak super highly of them because, again, my first time ordering from them and I don't actually have my product yet. But if you just want a physical trade of this, I'd say find the cheapest place you can get this version, because this may be the only version we ever get, and that's really fucking sad and upsetting. And considering that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to shitty DC news this week,
Oof.
I am not okay.
Hey, everything at Marvel's doing okay.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy for you.
Hell Nightmare says, I feel DC is just thinking if it's not Batman or Superman, it won't sell. And even then, sometimes they don't think Superman will sell.
That's been a prevailing attitude with DC for decades now.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's gotten even stronger given recent changes to the corporate structure of things. And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But before we dive into news proper, let's talk about something a little positive, something that I figured you'd find fun to see.
Ooh.
Because as everyone knows, I went on vacation this last week, and I went down to Florida to visit my mom's side of the family. And I had an afternoon to myself one day, and I went and checked out my comic book store from when I was a teenager that I haven't been to in like 6 or 7 years. Even though I've only lived here for like 5 years. It's I had to stop going there at one point because of just money issues. But I was very, very delighted to find that they hadn't been wiped out by COVID. It's just a little hole-in-the-wall place in Fort Myers called Record Trader. And if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend checking it out because it is very small and there is just stuff packed into every corner, like long boxes upon long boxes, figures hung super high up, as many as they can get on the peg. And there's just this one like middle-aged guy behind the counter who's been there running the store since like before I was born, apparently. And he's very nice, he's very witty, and he's very on it with his knowledge about when certain stuff came out. And they didn't have any trades there, and I didn't want any of the figures they had there. So I decided just for shits and giggles, I'd pick out like a bunch of covers that I thought looked cool and just buy like $40 in floppies.
Hell yeah. So that's the only way to read comics.
Yeah.
Only way to buy comics, just buy weird dumb shit.
So I'm gonna show what those are now because I've been keeping it from Boingo because I figured it'd be fun to get his reactions live on stream.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, because I went on a mission of like I need a cover with Shocker on it because he's my boy, and I don't have one with a cover with Shocker on it. The only thing I could find was a bunch of issues of Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Because I went on Google later. Apparently, there's only 2 actual issues of Spider-Man that have Shocker on the cover ever. But I picked up Superior Foes of Spider-Man number 8. And I do need, and this is just like also a nice little memento reminder because I haven't read this book yet, and this is like the most love Shocker and Boomerang have ever gotten, apparently. And it was just during that weird period where I wasn't reading current because of location and money.
Yeah.
So I'll have this as a reminder to check that out at some point. Then we have something I picked up simply because it made me laugh to see it in person. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 5.
Yeah, nice.
I have actually read this because I've been reading Marvel G.I. Joe in my spare time recently, because I've just been on a huge G.I. Joe kick since June. This issue is fucking hilarious because it's the most obvious toy plug in the series as far as I have read. I'm up to issue 11 now. This entire issue is just, look how cool the Mobat is! Don't you want to get your parents to buy a Mobat, kids? It's just 22 pages of that.
By the way, question: did you see how much any of these floppies are worth?
I didn't look online. I should have.
Because that's a newsstand version.
Yeah, cover price 60 cents. I paid $10 for this.
Yeah, that's not bad. I can imagine it being like 15.
All right.
If you sell it like eBay.
Here's something that's probably worth a little bit. Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, number 1.
Oh.
Because I fucking love this. This is my favorite Daredevil story, to be honest. I love Thor's reinterpretation of the origin. Cover price $2.95. I paid $5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Very clean. Very classic. Also, real quick for people, I'm not saying you should go speculate comics. No, I'm just saying it's fun to know how much the things you're getting are worth.
Yeah. So here's your chance to make fun of me. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, number 3.
Hey.
Variant cover.
I'm just saying, I'm thinking you should just collect the whole floppy.
Yeah, I might have to do that now, honestly. I might go to my local shop and see if I can find the rest of it once I have money again.
Because it's already printed in good paper there. Yeah.
And also just, I love the style of this cover. It's beautiful in my opinion. So this was $5 originally. I paid $6.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's very fair actually. Web of Spider-Man Annual number 2.
Hell yeah!
I love this cover.
That's a good cover.
Something about the black suit having the spider signal projected onto it just looks badass.
Oh yeah, that's a good cover.
This was originally $1.25. I paid $8 for it. And finally, because as soon as I saw it, I knew I don't care how much this is, I have to get this right now because it's here. The most iconic Transformers comic cover of all time.
Ooh.
Transformers number 5.
Holy
are all
shit.
dead. Yeah.
Damn. Is that an original?
This is an original. It's got some boxing and some water damage. But it was originally 75 cents. I paid $6.
The water damage might be what does it, but that should be
yeah. This should be like 20 or between 20 and $50 on its own.
You know what?
If it was graded.
Yeah. The grading might put it down because it's just it might not be the right kind of it might be I would say maybe a 5. Give it possible. I don't know the full grade scope, but yeah, that's some good stuff, man.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. I gotta admit. So, just wanted to show off and wanted to get your reactions. I figured that'd be pretty fun. But if you're not busy speculating, I'm ready to move into news now.
I'm looking real quick.
Okay.
I'm looking just to see what it might be. Because that's actually that might actually be a little chunk of change.
I'd imagine so, honestly.
But here's the thing: it's a fun little chunk of change to just know you have it, not to resell it.
Oh no.
That's not something you resell.
Honestly, now that I have this, this is probably one floppy I'll never get rid of. Just because, like I said, this is the most iconic Transformers comic cover ever.
Yeah, I'm looking a 9.6 grading, first year average 54, 46, 46. Yeah,
so $50.
Yeah, it's about $50-$60 if it's like really good in mint, you know?
And considering I paid $6 for my copy, I feel very good about that.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Like, fucking the most expensive thing in this stack is this random issue of G.I. Joe I bought because I know it's bad.
That's the best though. The comics you buy because you know they're a little shit.
Oh dude, there was a fucking Judas Traveler cover there. I was so tempted.
You know that would have been my pick.
Yeah.
I love Judas Traveler.
he's your problematic fave.
Emphasis on problematic.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to talk about some the news?
Yeah, I guess we can do this. All right.
Hey, guess what? Disney announces Marvel panels at D23.
Yeah, who'd have guessed? They're happening.
Yeah, they're happening. It's just more of like, hey, these are some things that are going on. Celebrating 60. Yeah, here you go.
My bets are we hear about the next Spider-Man movie and we hear about Moon Knight season 2 because I didn't notice until like a few days later that was not at the SDCC panel.
We're also probably going to get a couple trailers for some of the closer projects that haven't had one yet.
Yeah. Like, what's the next movie again?
Quantumania.
Yeah, we'll probably get the Quantumania trailer out of that.
Yeah. Though there might be a leak of MODOK.
I've seen it. How do you feel about it?
I mean, it makes sense for like an MCU version of MODOK. It just doesn't feel like a final render.
Mm-hmm. And it probably isn't, honestly.
Yeah. But hey.
It looks fine to me, but then I don't super care about MODOK like some people do.
Yeah. Can I turn that off? I'm checking something if I can turn off real quick. I'm checking to see if I can turn something off real quick. Nope, that doesn't give me what I want. Okay, I'll have to check the settings somewhere else. Hey, guess what?
What?
Rosario Dawson might have seemingly announced the Punisher's MCU return.
Yeah, this literally happened a few hours ago at a C2E2 panel.
Ooh.
Where I don't know what she was specifically talking about. It might have just been Rosario Dawson panel. But like somebody asked her about something Marvel related, and she just brought up like, "Oh yeah, somebody told me the other day that they're bringing back Punisher. I hope I get to be in that because I wasn't able to be in the first 2 seasons."
Yeah,
and it's like, was she cleared to say that?
Probably not. She may have just heard it from like. They can always just hide.
She might have heard it from John Bernthal.
Yeah, maybe. He seems like the kind of guy like, "Hey, we're doing Punisher again. It's fucking hype because I love playing this guy."
Yeah. But no, that's fairly exciting because I know a lot of people love the Netflix Punisher show. I haven't gotten to check it out yet. I'm still working my way through Luke Cage season 2, which is very good. I just got to the episode with Iron Fist in it, and that felt like straight up comic book Heroes for Hire.
Hell yeah.
No, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking Punisher out, and I'm looking forward to an MCU return. Who knows? It might be in Born Again, for all we know.
Yeah. Might be in Born Again.
But, all right, now let's do the pain.
Oh, this isn't that painful.
This is the beginning of the pain. This is slight pain.
So Lady Gaga confirmed for Joker 2 Folie à Deux, with a teaser trailer.
Yeah, a lot of people have been speculating for a while that she was going to play Harley Quinn in the movie, and it seems like that's actually happening, which, hooray for people who like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie. I didn't watch it. I thought it looked interesting, but not interesting enough for me to check it out.
It's a solid movie. It ain't the bee's knees, but it's solid.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she's still around. She's still doing stuff.
Oh yeah, Lady Gaga's been a presence. She's just not. Lady Gaga is past her old people are panicking over her destroying kids' minds period.
Yeah.
So just nobody. She's not a huge deal anymore. Like she is at the period now that Alice Cooper was in when she first became famous.
I'd say it's less of that, and it's more of like she isn't pursuing pop stardom.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to fucking jazz legend crooners. No, buddy. She's only like 10 or 15 years older than I am.
Yeah. Gaga's still in her 30s.
Yeah. Gaga ain't old. Are you thinking of Madonna? Is that who you're thinking of?
Entirely possible.
But no.
Lady Gaga's now in her like, oh yeah, she still dresses weird. How about that period?
No. She was like she was early 20s when she broke out in music.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I think she can pull off Harley Quinn.
Oh, dude, this is off topic, but guess what age thing I found out the other day that flipped me out?
What?
Kamen Rider Geats' actor is 19. Yeah.
Oh God.
For reference, I'm 25, and I think you're 28, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
No, what? Fuck it, Hell Nightmare. I'm fucking checking for you. Give me Wikipedia, please and thank you. She is currently 36.
Okay.
There's the Lady Gaga. 36.
Yeah. That's Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's acting a lot more these days. She was in the one movie with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Chromatica, Love for Sale, House of Gucci with Jared Leto.
Oh boy.
It's Gucci time.
Oh, God damn it. Buddy.
See, here's the thing. It's funny to me when you do it with anything other than Morbius.
Life sure is weird. Age is a bunch of numbers. How about that?
Life can be a dream. Life can be a dream. Do-up, do-oh. Life can be a dream. The paradise of above.
This is just payback for me annoying you earlier, isn't it?
Hey, guess what? You know it's also payback for annoying me? Comic Book Nation, Batgirl canceled, big DC Universe changes, HBO Max, Discovery.
Warner Brothers shat the bed, basically. This
Warner Brothers didn't shit the bed. Discovery did.
The new head of all that shit came in and shat that bed. A man named David Zaslav recently became the head of things. Yeah, it sounds like a real name, doesn't it?
No, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like the fucking serial killer Batman has to fight.
And he basically took the attitude that most of these executives do, which is, oh, I didn't make that thing, so who cares about it? Let's get rid of it. Like he closed down the Arrowverse. Basically, Flash season 9 is currently in production, and it's going to be the last season of anything Arrowverse. Even though I think Superman and Lois is still going, and I think that show is tangentially Arrowverse because Harlequin was in Supergirl as Superman, and that's Arrowverse. And oh God, I'm not going to go cross-eyed tonight. I'm not going to let it happen. But that happened, and then the man canceled the Batgirl project that everyone was like tentatively excited for. I didn't particularly care, but a lot of people were interested in it because apparently it's going to be doing a lot with newer Batgirl mythology. J.K. Simmons was going to be coming back as Gordon, and Michael Keaton was going to be Batman. Like, it was a whole bunch of just grab bags of other media stuff. And the movie was 90% done, and they just fucking canned it because apparently they can tax write it off and save a bunch of money that way.
Yeah,
and they also did the same thing with the sequel to Scoob. which is really fucking gross, especially because the day after it was announced, they still had to go in and record the score for it because they had already paid for the studio and the musicians. And then on top of all that, this just threw everything at Warner Brothers into disarray where like nobody was sure what was happening with any DC projects for a day and a half, to the point where people were adding James Gunn on Twitter and being like, is Peacemaker season 2 okay? And he's like, we're fine, everybody calm down. The Constantine reboot is apparently still happening. That's still good. But Kevin Smith's Strange Adventure series is canceled, which wasn't going to be an adaptation of the Tom King thing. It was just going to have the same name and also do stuff with DC.
I mean, it's like saying Journey into Mystery at Marvel. It's a classic anthology series that you can bring up for like brownie points.
Yeah. But yeah, just crazy shit all over the board, and also apparently everything's fine in Flashland. Like, that's a real thing a producer said on Twitter the other day, even though the fucking Ezra Miller situation is happening, which I have refused to comment on in most cases, but here I feel the need to just fucking say I already wasn't interested in that movie at all. But now I'm like, I hope this thing goes the way of Morbius.
Ezra Miller's like Jared Leto on crack.
Yeah, that I can't even say that man because he changed his pronouns in the middle of all this to be they them. And
no, we're not complaining of people changing their pronouns to they them. It's just more of like, it's just like colloquial language.
I'm used to saying this fucking guy in relation to people like that, and now I have to upgrade my brain to go, this fucking them. Jesus. But no, that is a whole thing, and apparently they're still going ahead with the movie because there's too much money tied up in it, even though they could literally just do the same thing they did to Batgirl if they really wanted to. But yeah, and apparently now Batfleck is putting on the costume one more time to be in that movie in some way, for some reason, even though that movie is already such a clusterfuck. Like, they were going to introduce a new Supergirl in that movie who was supposed to apparently get her own movie if it went well, and now those plans are canceled. Any news on Invincible Season 2? It's happening. It's at Amazon. It's safe.
Yeah, no, that's Image. That's Image Comics. It's completely unrelated. Superman and Lois is said to have similar characters, but they decided to not take place in the same universe. Good.
Interesting.
Did you see some of the other shit that's been happening?
I've seen a lot of things. It's been really hard to parse.
Like, what is the difference between Discovery Plus and HBO Max? What are they targeting?
One's for men and one's for women. Oh God. And the fact that those slides they put out. Let's just talk about those slides for a minute, because like some of the franchise they list as their heavy hitters are shows that have been off the air for like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Or like franchises that they're literally only making because they still have contracts open, but nobody cares about. Like, they still think Harry Potter and Game of Thrones are going to be their big money makers.
And they break DC up into like several characters and not just DC Comics.
It's just Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, which I'm impressed they put Wonder Woman in there, but they're using logos from 30 years ago.
I don't mind that. Those are evergreen logos, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that shows that just like they didn't care. They were throwing this together in 10 minutes.
Yeah, no. If they'd have put a DC logo, I guarantee you it would have been the Page Flip 52 logo.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, fucking 90 Day Fiancé is apparently one of their biggest money makers right now. And like, I knew that show did good in ratings because I always see it in the chart next to like AEW, WWE.
That's another thing, buddy. AEW is part of all of this.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, they've said nothing.
They've said nothing about AEW, but they're like, here's the thing, that can always change.
But I don't feel as worried about AEW as I do about DC Comics, the comic company.
Oh yeah, no.
But
Y'all I hate to put this. Y'all are in mid-90s Marvel territory right now.
Yeah, and we'll get into that for a second, but like I want to say, I think AEW is fairly safe because they have been playing ball like nobody's business with Warner's the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, dude. All the Shark Week promotion they did this last couple of weeks.
Yeah. So like I think they're fine, but then there's DC who has had the plans for live action stuff upended for like the 5th time in a row, and yet they're still saying we're trying to find our Feige. We're trying to get a 10-year plan together. You've been saying that since Zack Snyder signed on. Like this particular period of it, like after we had the upending of the Snyder stuff, and then they brought in Jeff Johns, and then they threw him out right after they finished Shazam, and then they got rid of DC Direct as a company, and they thinned down the comic line, and DC almost didn't survive the pandemic. It is a really scary time to be a DC fan. Like it feels like a mix of 90s Marvel fandom, late 90s Marvel fandom, and WWE fandom as of 3 months ago.
Hey, that ended up with Triple H though.
That's true, but like, man, I was listening to that podcast that Sal did on all this, and like they threw around the term pump and dump scheme a couple times, and I was like, it's scary how much that doesn't sound like fear-mongering to me. Like, that sounds realistic. That could be what's going on here at a corporate level, because there's also been some rumors going around that the whole reason this guy is taken over and is restructuring Discovery Warner Brothers so much is because it's all a massive scheme to get him the clout to be able to get in charge of CNN. And just for one more thing about the magnificent Mr. David Zaslav, you know what initially got him famous? He's the guy that discovered Honey Boo Boo.
Oh.
Yeah. So, you know, we got just the most competent, classy gentleman in charge of things right now.
I will say this. Marvel's currently owned by Disney, which is fucking Disney. But it's also fucking Disney.
Say what you will about Disney. They're making those trains run on time.
That's the most apt description possible.
It's a whole thing. It's hard to parse. I'm sure there's shit I missed.
Oh yeah.
Like, but man, oh man, is it a scary time? But hey, at least the Batman Penguin show is happening. That's apparently going to start filming in February. I saw that a few hours ago.
Yeah, gross is the only word that comes to mind. Yeah, it's gross. It's not good.
It is corporate gerrymandering of the most egregious degree I've seen in a long time.
It's and here's the thing. This is reminding me more and more of mid-90s Marvel, because you got to remember what they did to Marvel.
Oh yeah,
which was they basically gutted out all of Marvel and then overextended themselves and then went into bankruptcy while the CEO basically took a paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened. Like, Marvel didn't go into bankruptcy because they couldn't tell stories anymore. They were telling bad stories and they were just hemorrhaging things.
Also, during that time, there was a point where Marvel was offered to Warner Brothers to buy, and they passed it up because they didn't think any of the characters were worth anything.
Yeah.
And now that same thing could happen, but reversed, I almost feel like.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Disney's not gonna bite.
Mm-hmm.
Disney wouldn't bite because they were already getting into trouble with Fox.
Isn't Gotham basically making the same? Yeah, I heard that about the Gotham show. I never watched the Gotham show, so I don't know for sure. Hey, one good thing to come out of all this, Gotham Knights at the CW is definitely not happening.
Hell yeah.
That was announced to be canceled.
But there's just a lot of things. Who can even be DC's Kevin Feige?
I mean, if he plays his cards right, James Gunn is kind of in line at the moment.
You know what? Fuck it, have James Gunn do it.
Yeah. I don't particularly love his version of the DC Universe as the DC Universe, but I do like the products he's put out as stories about those particular characters. So
here's the thing.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
His version of the DC Universe is very grimy and slimy, sure. But also, like, it feels like DC in that there's hope.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like, good guys, you know? They're trying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't want to yet. Yeah, that's the thing. James Gunn.
He's probably got to wrap up Guardians Free first.
Yeah, he's got to wrap up Guardians. He's got to wrap up all the Guardians adjacent projects. And then he has to decide whether he wants the big Disney check to keep working on Marvel stuff, or the possibly slightly less Warner Brothers check to be in charge of everything.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Well, yeah, he'll have more control and tell the stories he wants to tell. Considering this financial situation all of this is in right now, they might not have the check to pay him.
But hey, everybody, get excited to go see Black Adam and Shazam! Fury of the Gods this Christmas.
It's funny how DC's most successful movie in terms of critical acclaim and like box office has been Shazam. You know, the character they sidelined for years because it's like, we already have Superman.
Well, it's a mix of that and The Batman. Like, a lot of people think The Batman is the best movie to come out this year, which I don't know about that. It's probably the best superhero movie to come out this year.
Yeah, that's sure.
I mean, I still haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once or Nope, so I don't know if it's the best movie, period.
Yeah. I'm not saying you shouldn't be excited. It's just more of like...
Yeah, no, Aki, I'm excited for those too, but like I'll catch it when I can sail the seven seas for it, kind of way.
It's just more of like, it's kind of a little funny, you know, that the flag bearer is Shazam and not Superman.
People who say, yeah, of course, that's kind of how I was talking about that.
Yeah. The Batman's a really good Batman movie, though. It's the best Batman so far in cinema.
Definitely.
Do you have any more DC rant you want to go on?
For now, no.
Well, next up, we got a brand new comic going to be coming out, people.
Yeah, the creator of Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, is going to be writing a Doctor Strange comic. And it's written and drawn by Trad Moore, and holy shit, this dude's art style. This looks like a Doctor Strange comic in a way we haven't had in a while.
Oh yeah, this is Trad Moore to a T. And if you haven't heard of Trad Moore, he also did Silver Surfer Black. Yeah.
This is going to be Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise, and I believe it is coming in September. September? No, that's next. Hang on. November. It's coming on November 23rd is the first issue.
Now, my question is it going to be in continuity?
I don't know, because it looks like he's wearing the classic costume, and I mean, like, we still don't know if Clea's actually going to get him back anytime soon.
I'm still on the Harvest Man theory. I bet. So, like, I'm a big Doc Strange fan, and I'm excited for this. This looks amazing and beautiful.
You know, I immediately saw this, and my first thought was, "Oh, Tiffany's probably pretty happy today."
Oh yeah. Trad Moore is one of the best comic artists going today. Like, my top three: Mike Allred, Trad Moore, David Warren Johnson.
I'll admit, I don't love his art style. It's a little too goopy for my taste, but it works fantastic for Doctor Strange.
Goopy's the right word for Tradmore. It is very accentuated anatomy.
Everything looks like it's kind of flowing into everything else.
It's beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
A little hard to parse.
Definitely.
But hey, we got some of the first art from Greg Capullo, Spawn Batman.
Yeah, the new Spawn Batman book is coming soon, and Greg Capullo's been posting some pencil sneak peeks to Twitter, and that is Greg Capullo, man. He don't miss. Like whether you like him or not, his art is always exactly as good as it always has been.
Yeah. But yeah, you can also tell he's changed it up and like experimented with his style, but just haven't fucked with it too much that makes people go ew, like John Romita Jr.
Yeah, and I like Greg Capullo's art for the most part. His faces can be a little too gaunt at times, in my opinion, but for the most part, I like his style.
Yeah. Hey, guess what, Vac?
News only you care about?
I'm gonna take you for a ride. Dun, dun, dun. Vac, no, this is important. Vac, no, you know this is genuinely important.
I know it's important. I just don't care.
Vac, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is getting a re-release in a cabinet, in an arcade cabinet. This means that Marvel and Capcom are still working together. This means we may get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 re-released on other places, and this may also mean we may also have another Marvel vs. Capcom possibly in the future.
True. But also, could this not just be an arcade cabinet company going to both companies separately and saying, hey, we want to release this?
Here's the thing, sure, but because this is a brand new version of the game with like online and all this kind of stuff and like all that kind of jazz, and it's also just not this game, it's other games, because hold on, does this article say what it is? It will include Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems, which is basically every Marvel Capcom fighting game before Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So it's like everyone up till Capcom 2.
Okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. It's like a big anniversary collection type thing then.
Yeah. And the only ones that are after that are 3, Ultimate 3, and Infinite. So those are the only 3 that are in here for Marvel Capcom things. Like, genuinely, it looks amazing. It looks like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It has the right look. It looks good. This just makes me go like, oh man, Modular HQ is going to have an arcade. You know this, right?
Of course.
We're going to have an arcade. Okay. We're going to have a whole
I'm sure this is a fair price for an arcade cabinet, but I did get a bit of sticker shock when I saw it's $500.
Well, here's the thing. It's an 80% arcade cabinet. It's not full size. So, like, you can fit it in your house a little bit easier. But it's also several games. And you gotta realize, arcade cabinets are a bit of a novelty.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what's also a bit of a novelty and has a sticker shock price? Hot Toys.
When is Modular HQ, Aki asks?
When we're rich.
When we're rich and popular on YouTube.com.
Like, I can tell you right now, there's
comment, subscribe, engage with the algorithm.
There's a bunch of fucking plans with Modular HQ. Makerspace, computer array full of editing rigs and animation tools, recording studio for music and podcasts.
Just a fucking wrestling ring.
Well, here's the thing. I'm imagining it as more like a blank canvas of a space that we can put a wrestling ring in, but also do like rock shows and stand-up comedy and plays.
Yeah. It's basically, what if the Performance Center, but for everything?
But here's the thing. A small thing I want to add to it. We have a open space that's like a lounge for everybody. Hey, it's not that big of a pipe dream. Only slightly bit of a pipe dream.
It is definitely our pipe dream, but don't diss it calling it that.
Here's the thing. The full modular HQ is a big pipe dream, but every single module of modular HQ is somewhat achievable.
Because modular HQ would be like a campus, but we can still start with just one building.
We can just start with one building, and they don't always have to be interlinked. Modular isn't just our name for a reason. Modular is our name for a reason because that's our mindset with creation.
Yeah.
Hey, Iron Man Mark III version 2 figure by Hot Toys.
This looks fucking beautiful, honestly. Like, this is one of the best Hot Toys I've seen in a while. And that might be partly just due to the fact that, like, the way I found out about Hot Toys was Iron Man figures and Nolan Batman figures. So, like, I've seen some of the earliest attempts they've made at MCU Iron Man, and to see them go back and do the Mark III from the first movie again and have it just look so much more slicker and so much more beautiful than an already fantastic toy for the time. It's really just a feast for the eyes, this thing. I love all the little tricks and things they've added, like the increased height and the new suspension system in the stomach and the legs. The Ironmonger base that this thing is going to come with. The Robert Downey Jr. likeness is just on point. And the smashed up helmet ain't bad either. Although I don't really see a reason to use it
for when you're having the Tony head.
I guess I could see that.
But yeah, no, it looks really good. But again, it's Hot Toys. It's a little rich for my blood.
I may never own this, but god damn, is it beautiful.
Yeah. Hell Nightmare.
Let's do two more.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Everyone's favorite Thor. Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
She has the Hot Toys.
Yeah, honestly, I do think this looks pretty good. Having actually seen the movie, humble brag. I think this looks very accurate to the movie. I'm trying to remember what scene she got her helmet broken in, because that's a big selling point with this figure. Apparently, is that there's going to be a broken version of the helmet. Yeah, I really dig how this looks. Honestly, I don't know if I'd need it, even if I was a Hot Toys collector, because the Marvel Legends turned out really well, I think, better than the Figuarts even. So like this is a good looking figure, but it's not necessarily like gotta have it like the Iron Man was.
Yeah. Oh, still, it looks really good.
Hell Nightmare in the chat. Well, if y'all need a chef, I'm down to move to America. We will keep you in the Rolodex.
We have a lot of people in the Rolodex because we just keep adding friends, because ultimately Modular is just, hey, friends, do you want to escape capitalism?
We're all about the power of friendship at Modular Media.
Wasn't it versus the God Butcher the second time they fought? Probably. I haven't seen the movie yet. Yeah, I'll watch it when it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that might have happened during that scene. I don't remember every detail of the film particularly well, considering I've only seen it once.
Yeah. Well, you'll see it again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Friendly Neighborhood Hot Toy.
Yeah, because Toby Spider-Man is now being officially referred to in all copy as Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I think is fine. That's a good suffix to attach to him to differentiate him from the others.
I think he was the only one who really like leaned into it with the notes, you know?
Yeah. And I think this figure looks really good. I like that, unlike the Amazing Spider-Man they're putting out, this does look specifically modeled after his No Way Home appearance. The face looks much more accurate to No Way Home. I love that he comes with the cure for Sandman, and there's a deluxe version with a Sandman base. Like it just looks like a really solid Hot Toy. Not like blow me away like the Iron Man was, but just like this is what I would expect from a basic. Like if you tell me Hot Toys is doing a new Tobey Spider-Man based off of No Way Home, this is basically what I'd envision. No surprises here.
Oh yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, good spitter, good Spittermans. We just have a lot of good Spider-Mans today.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Like a turd in the wind.
Yeah. SH Figure Arts Venom has been getting more and more photos. The official solicitation is already out, actually. And yeah, it looks like a good toy. I don't know if everybody necessarily needs to get it, considering the Marvel Legends was already such a great toy. But if you're a figure arts person, this looks like a solid release. And
This is a good thing for photo photography, though.
yeah, that's a great inclusion. That's probably the reason to get this version, in my opinion. Just the fact that you have that, and you use that with basically anybody. It's just like a devil on your shoulder kind of a thing.
Oh yeah. Also, he looks nice, good, and wet.
Just wet.
Just wet.
Get
Hey,
your wet venom.
continuing on this Japanese toy train, we got another SH Figure Arts. This of Friendly Neighborhood again.
Yeah, because when we initially saw those photos from, I believe it was Tamashii Fest, it was kind of in question whether or not this and the other two Spider-Mans were going to come with actor likenesses. It looks like the figure arts is coming with an actor likeness, and it's of course not as good as the hot toy, but I like the inclusion of the little like crumpled up Spidey mask, and it still looks fairly solid. I love the pointing photo. I love them all posed up on the Statue of Liberty photo.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, though, I do feel like just in terms of overall cohesion of the design and the joints not interfering with things too much, the Marvel Legends is probably still going to be your best bet in terms of a solid figure. But if you need actor likeness, Figure Arts might be the way to go.
Also, SH Figure Arts has a little bit more range and mobility.
Yeah, generally speaking.
So like that's the kind of the toss up. And then we have a solicitation for pre-order. That's it for those guys. So you can pre-order them now, buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want?
And then something that happened literally while I was waiting for you to get in the call.
Yeah, we got a Mecha Loki.
Yeah, Sentinel Fighting Armor Loki is officially up for pre-order. You might remember we saw the prototype for this at SDCC, and now we have an official pre-order for it. It's a brown and gold Iron Man armor with horns, boys.
Here's the thing. This line would be 10 times better if it was model kits.
I don't know if I super agree with that, but I can see where you're coming from.
Because then part of the fun would just be making it.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot more and all that kind of jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a thing that we all need, we're gonna buy, I'm gonna buy it, Good Smile Company, Nindroid Stan Lee.
Really? You're gonna go for this over the Marvel Legends that they put out a couple years back?
But this is so adorable. And I never said I wouldn't get that. I want this Stan Lee.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good for what it is, but I've just never been a fan of making toys of Stan, and for some reason, no other Marvel creators in general. Like, I don't want that Marvel Legend. I'm not super interested in any other toys of his likeness, just because, like, where's Jack Kirby? Where's Steve Ditko? Where's newer people like Brian Michael Bendis?
4chan selling Stan Lee. Jesus. Here's the thing that I will say about all this. First off, I'm probably one of the biggest Stan Lee apologists, period. You know, because to me, everyone goes like, oh yeah, no, Ditko did so much for Spider-Man, and I just sit here pointing at the first fucking issue going like, yeah, but who wrote with great power comes great responsibility? The thing that pretty much defines all of Spider-Man. That's not a Ditko line. That can never be a Ditko line with what we know of Ditko.
That's true.
Right?
Give you that.
And I think people often fall too hard on the Jack Kirby got screwed mindset, which he did. He did get screwed. He got screwed completely. I fucking love Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I'm not asking for everybody to bend over and suck Jack Kirby's like decades old dead dick, but I want more acknowledgement for the other creators. Like,
here's the thing. I don't think Jack Kirby would want a figure. I think Stan Lee would think this is cool. That's the difference. Jack Kirby would go like, I don't need anything. Stan Lee goes like, oh, you're making a toy of me? Hell yeah.
Fair enough.
You know, but like what I was saying with the Jack Kirby thing, you read The New Gods and you realize how much Stan Lee helped Jack Kirby with Marvel stuff.
And fighting with Jesus to bring Stanley back while Linkin Park plays in the back. What the fuck, Nightmare?
That's a Newgrounds video right there.
That sure is. Gee, oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, I appreciate Stan Lee. And at this point, Stan Lee's a fucking character. He ain't a man. He's a fucking... This is Mickey Mouse.
He is not a man. He's a brand.
He is a brand at this point. And he made good and sure that he became that.
It's true.
Hey, guess what? We're getting more photos of that Venom multi-pack.
Yeah, we had heard about this. Was basically like stealth announced at SDCC of like, this is a thing we're doing. You're gonna get Poison and Riot this year, and it's like, okay. And now we officially know how, which is it's a free pack with another Venom. But this isn't just another Venom. This is actually a Venom a lot of toy collectors have been asking for a while, because it's a Venom on the Omega Red body without cell shading. People asked for a long time for them to do a Venom on the Omega Red body, and then they did it as a PulseCon exclusive on a retro card based off of the 90s show, and they gave it that shading from the 90s show, and everybody was like, this would be great if it didn't have cell shading. So now
I like the cell shading though, because as a version in and of itself, as a variant, yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. But now, here, you picky ass motherfuckers, here's the Venom you've been asking for, and you can complete your symbiotes in the same fell swoop. Which, I'm not a super big fan of the non-Carnage and Venom symbiotes, but I'm sorry, this is Agony and Riot. They look fairly solid as figures here. Good choices for the Bucks, because I believe that's the Scream body, and that's the Matt Gargan Venom body for Riot.
Man, I love Jesse from Rocket Team Rocket Pokemon. There we go. That's the joke. That's the joke I was telling.
Jesse from Team Rocket in the Pokemon anime.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Pokemon anime.
Pokemon.
I'm kind of on the edge of if I'm going to get this or not, because first of all, I believe it's a Amazon exclusive, so ew. Second of all, I've been back and forth about whether or not I'm going to collect symbiotes outside of Venom and Carnage, and third of all, this would be a superfluous Venom for me, because I'm already planning to get the Venom and Null 2-pack and have that be my evergreen Venom.
Right.
So,
Dog Venom? I think that's Venom.
Yeah.
I think
they haven't made a figure of that yet.
They haven't made a figure of that, but but Venom, when he's not on a person, he turns into like a pit bull.
Yeah.
But
no, it's cool that it's happening. Shipping in December for $78.
Yeah, not bad for 3 figs.
Yeah.
No, his children turns into a cat.
Yeah.
He did start off as a dog, but then Dylan said, I don't like dogs, and so he was like, all right, cool, I'll be a cat.
Yeah.
Hey, you ready to ride?
I'm ready to ride, because Hasbro put up the video that they showed at their Marvel Legends Comic-Con panel on the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel, which is basically just a very short teaser of logos Marvel Legends series, HasLab, Ghost Rider 50th anniversary. The next Marvel Legends HasLab is going to be a Ghost Rider thing, and I think it's pretty safe to assume because every Marvel Legends collector has been asking for it for like 2 years now. It's gonna be the Hell Charger with Robbie Reyes.
Yeah. The part of me also goes like, if you're doing it to celebrate 50 years of Ghost Rider, shouldn't it be Johnny Blaze?
They'll probably try and get a Johnny Blaze and like maybe a villain or two in there as stretch goal figures.
Here's the question. Okay. Hell Charger, yeah, cool, big thing. That's not a super expensive like. That's not super expensive like Unicron or like.
Oh no! Well, here's the thing: they
Galactus.
have done less expensive HasLabs. There was a Star Saber from the Transformers team, and I believe that was like $180. This would probably be around the same price.
Well, here's my thinking: what if they make a lot of stretch goals, and you get an entire Ghost Rider crew?
That could be cool.
With the 3 main cycles, with you get the original Hell cycle. No, I mean like the 2 main cycles, or you go with the different variation, which is something I think would be really cool. You go with Danny Ketch Hell cycle, which is the crotch rocket with the battering ram on the front.
Because we have gotten Johnny Blaze and the Hell cycle in the Riders line, I believe. It was like 4 or 5 years ago now, but it's still fairly easy to find. And like, that is my Ghost Rider. To me, in my head, Ghost Rider is just a dude on a flaming hog.
Right.
So like, if this happens, unless they do what you're suggesting and give us a full Ghost Rider crew, I'll probably honestly skip it. Because I have nothing against the Hell Charger, but I also have no attachment to it or Robbie.
It's a fun vehicle. I would also say get all 4 Ghost Riders.
Yeah.
Johnny, Danny, Robbie, and Frank.
Yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider is out there. I remember.
And
like,
hey, you can just do a re-release of Cosmic with the motorcycle. That's all you got to do for him.
Yeah, because remember, that's how a lot of people got introduced to that character, was just looking at that action figure and going, "That's fucking crazy. I gotta own that."
Yeah, and then they go read the Donny Cates Cosmic Ghost Rider shit.
Yeah,
Fucking hilarious.
Good ass book.
Good ass shit. Good ass shit. Cosmic Ghost Rider, Frank Castle, good.
Mm-hmm.
Based in Ghost Rider build.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. Here's the thing. I'm pretty 50-50 on whether or not this would actually be fun, because it is Ghost Rider's 50th anniversary. Ghost Rider is a fairly popular character, but he also doesn't sell super well these days in terms of comics. So I'd be interesting to see if a Ghost Rider thing that's not a bike could get backed. I hope it does, though, because I always hope every HasLab gets funded.
Yeah. Well, the current Ghost Rider book's doing pretty good, as far as I'm aware. Like, it's a really fun read. We'll talk about it later.
All right.
Hey, guess what? Hal Jordan Parallax figure officially revealed for Walmart Gold Label.
Yeah, this fucking thing got found in the wild before any word of it was announced. In a week where Todd was announcing a ton of stuff to begin with, and everybody was immediately like, temples aren't painted, I don't want it. Yeah. And now we see the official reveal, and yeah, it was always intended not to have the temples be painted. Just kind of crappy in my opinion.
He doesn't even have the Green Lantern logo in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I think it's meant to be Villain Parallax.
I mean, yeah, but like still, didn't he have that in there?
I don't remember. I'd have to go look at that. But yeah, I don't particularly care for Parallax as Hal Jordan being a supervillain, so I don't know if I'd probably never get this, to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great. It doesn't look great, and it's a thing I don't care for. Speaking of which,
hey, we got Azrael Batman armor.
Yeah, I've never cared for this costume.
Here's the thing. We can be honest here. This is the best version of the costume because it's finally what it's always meant to be. A dope-ass action figure.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good for what it is, but it's a design that I've always looked at and gone, the only people who could love that are people who grew up with it.
Here's the thing. It's dumb, cheesy 90s. I love it.
Fair enough.
Because it's so dumb. Look at how dumb he is.
Those fucking leg spikes just drive me up the wall.
The leg spikes, the thigh pouch, the gold Under Armour. It's so dumb. I love.
It's not optimal.
It is not good, but it's absolutely good. Hey, want to see some butts?
Let's talk about something that's actually good.
Blue and gold.
Yeah, the Blue and Gold 2-pack got full solicitations this week. This is going to go to all retailers. It's not going to be an exclusive of any kind. And it looks like they're on the same buck, but there's a few tweaks here and there, obviously. And this is a fairly fully featured 2-pack for Multiverse. Like, it's going to come with a display base of some cool machinery. Skeets is, of course, going to be there. There's also going to be an arm blast effect for Booster. And fucking Blue Beetle has his little grappling gun, which I'm surprised they included because DC has the whole no trigger weapons thing. But I think they got it in there just because there's not a trigger on this particular toy version.
They look really good. The only thing, and this is a very, 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 very big nitpick. It's a nitpick. This isn't a criticism. This is a nitpick. It would have been fun to have maskless heads so you can recreate some JLI panels.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Oh, man.
But
like, you know, every customizer is already working on that.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like they needed it. It was just like that would have been like cherry on top.
Would have set it off. That being said, though, knowing Todd, there might already be an unmasked variant on the way.
Yeah. All you need now is just Martian Manhunter there with the fucking Oreo just going like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
How has nobody ever made a Martian... This is a rant I've always had saved up. How has nobody ever made a Martian Manhunter figure that just comes with a box of Oreos? Like, I know licensing can be a bitch, but that
Chacos! That's why you have Chacos! That's why you have Chacos.
Yeah.
That's such an easy fucking thing, because that's always the big problem with Martian Manhunter, is that a lot of people just can't connect with him. Because like, Superman looks human, and he's pretty much human. Martian Manhunter's a fucking Martian. But he loves Oreos. That's something very beautiful and very humanizing about the guy.
Martian Manhunter is a guy who would eat 4 packs of Oreos in a day and not feel guilty. And I think there's something beautiful about that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guess what? We have another, I keep wanting to call it Kenner style. It's not Kenner. No,
because it's based off of a Kenner line.
Oh, it is Kenner? Okay.
DC Superpowers was a Kenner line. I believe so.
Yeah. But it's John Stewart. We're getting a John Stewart, like a fun little 5-point articulated John Stewart.
Yeah. So it's a nice inclusion in the line, but I still don't super care about this line. I did have a thought a couple weeks ago that, like, if I could find the whole first wave in one go, that would be like a neat pickup for my nephew for Christmas. But then again, I think he's still too young to really comprehend superheroes and stuff. So
Hell's still confused about their friendship, but that's because Young Justice was your first time seeing that Blue Beetle and Justice League was seeing gold. Yeah, because here's the thing. It's a different Blue Beetle.
Can fuck you up that way.
But yeah, because the first Blue Beetle you saw was the third Blue Beetle, and it's the second Blue Beetle that is friends with Booster Gold.
Yeah. Blue Beetle's like as much of a legacy character as the Flash, and people tend to forget that.
Yeah, Blue Beetle, that version of Blue Beetle is kind of like, what if Batman, but no trauma? And less detective. Yeah, there's multiple Blue Beetles.
Not your fault, Hal. It's just an accident of the way you grew up.
Yeah. Because the Blue Beetle in Young Justice is, what's his name?
Jaime Reyes.
Robbie Reyes, Jaime Reyes.
Yeah.
That's what fucks me up.
That's why we need a new DC versus Marvel. We need those boys to meet up and pal around.
And just go like, hey, my name's Robbie. Hey, my name's Jaime. We both got the last name Reyes. Oh, cool. Gotta be cousins. But we're from alternate dimensions. We're still cousins. Yeah, we're still cousins.
Yeah, cousin. Like that's just the whole issue is them meeting each other's family.
Robbie puts his hand back on Hamey. We get Ghost Rider Blue Beetle.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't mean the one with the beetle on his back? Is Ted Cord in Young
I
Justice?
have no idea.
I haven't seen Young Justice past season 3, so.
Hey, guess what? We got new NECA figures from that Owen Wilson movie?
Yeah. This is bizarre, and I had to put it on here because it's technically superhero news. But yeah, Secret Headquarters is getting 2 figures from NECA, which are basically the same figure in different colors. Of The Guard and Argon are Owen Wilson and what is his name? What is this man's name? Michael Pena. Which it's actually the first time there's been an action figure of Michael Pena, apparently. I don't know if it looks super like him because I don't recognize the man's name, so I don't know if I've seen him and stuff. But yeah, these look like fairly standard NECA figures by their current rates, but also like I'm one of those guys who's still super skittish about NECA figures breaking, so I wouldn't highly recommend these. That being said, they could make for good Tron customs.
My NECA Godzilla still standing to this day. Still good.
Nice.
Haven't had a bust with it. The reason they are friends is Blue Beetle, not Blue Beetle, Booster Gold is from the future, but he's a little bit of a shitbag.
The Owen Wilson likeness is actually pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're solid.
Yeah.
They're not bad. They're not bad NECA toys. Overall, you know?
Yeah. Well, in the comics, Nightmare, you see Blue Beetle or Booster Gold came back to a period when Ted Cord was active as the Blue Beetle and had been hanging around ever since. And they just kind of became buds because they were like the only guys of their caliber on the Justice League International, and they've just stayed friends ever since.
Yeah, they're just kind of like, they're kind of just shitbags, but lovable, good hearts of gold. They want to do the right thing, but also like, man, wouldn't money be nice?
Yeah.
That's their character. Wouldn't money be nice?
Money would be nice.
And sometimes you got to remember that Blue Beetle's friends with Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's a joke because everybody in the comics calls Booster Gold Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm. It's like Deadpool getting mistaken for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Hey, are you ready to go on your final rant of the night?
Oh, boy.
Or one of your final rants of the night?
Oh, boy.
First up, tell us about Florida Man.
All right, so Florida Man #1 came out, I want to say last week, and it is from American Mythology Productions, which is a publisher I've never heard of before. It is written by Marco Borstein with, wait, what? Oh, that's not the, sorry, that's the company credits. Created and written by Mike Barron with art by Todd Morlooney, Elias Martins, and Marcelo Salaza. So this took a lot of fucking people to come out, and it basically amounts to a meme cash-in that's comes off as honestly extremely oh god, what's the word that's like racist but for Southern people?
Classist usually.
Yeah, it's very classist because it's essentially just everyone who lives in Florida is a hick whose girlfriend is a stripper, and he's been divorced like 8 times, and his entire life revolves around getting her out of prison by selling stuff to pawn shops. And it's, as somebody who spent his teenage years living in Florida, I'm like, you missed a golden opportunity here to talk about what actually makes Florida a shitty state, and you're just talking about stereotypes of like hicks and rednecks in general. And like when I lived in Florida, I didn't even see that many hicks and rednecks. Like the news gives Florida a weird reputation because like yeah, there are a lot of hicks and rednecks, but like Florida has more of a problem with like drug addicts or people who can't keep a job because of the seasonal nature of businesses and shit like that. Like this just feels like somebody somebody watched What the Fuck Is Wrong with You, the fucking live stream news show about goofy news articles way too many times and went, I can make a comic out of that, and didn't actually do any research into what it's like to fucking live in Florida. And it comes off as very, very offensive, if I'm being completely honest. This is the first time I've ever given a book a first issue uh 0 stars on Goodreads. This is just like, do not touch this, do not support this for any reason. It is bad.
Here's the thing. You've lived in Florida, so you actually know this. Florida's 3 different states.
Yeah.
There's Central Florida, there's South Florida, and then there's the Panhandle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are all different culturally. They're all different, like, vibes.
Florida is very similar to Texas and California in that way.
You see, because, like, a crazy Florida man in, like, Miami is completely different than a crazy Florida man in Orlando.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Here's something nobody ever talks about when they're talking about the Florida man meme.
Yeah.
The reason that meme exists is because Florida has different laws about reporting on crime from any other state that just make it way easier for police documents to get published as news articles way faster.
Yep.
Like, Florida doesn't have a crazy high crime rate compared to other states. It's just way easier to report on crime in Florida than it is in other states.
Because unlike other states, Florida actually publishes the counties who got arrested.
Yeah.
Like, legit, just like, you can go to your convenience store and you buy a newspaper of all the mugshots during the week.
Oh, yeah.
It like, that's a normal thing in Florida. Like, it's just, it's a Freedom of Information Act, I think. It's the state legislative.
Like, don't get me wrong. Florida is a shitty state. I hated living there.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, very skittish about going back this last weekend. But this ain't it. You ain't hitting any of my points here, and the points you are hitting feel very base level and very ignorant.
And classist, because, like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, oh, you're a hick and all that. Yeah, that's classism.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
like,
poor, you're dumb.
This feels like a more accurate representation of the plot of My Name is Earl than it does of anything actually in Florida.
Right. The gator's a good-looking gator, though.
Yeah, it's a good gator boy.
Good gator.
Man, I was so upset. I went to like 5 different Walmarts and 2 Targets while I was there. I couldn't find Crocmaster. I really wanted to find Crocmaster in Florida.
Oh man. Hey. Let's get the taste of that out of our mouths. I read Strange number 4.
Hey, I read that too, but I didn't think I needed to talk about it, so I didn't tell you about it.
Yeah, no, it's just more of like, these are books that I wanted to talk about, and I didn't know if you didn't tell me if you read them or not.
I just sent Boingo the covers for the books that I was like, okay, I probably need to talk about these, because there was a lot these last 2 weeks, and we had to pare it down.
Yeah, we did pare it down. But yeah, no, Strange number 4. It's just Clea still dealing with shit. The bad guys resurrect basically a bunch of dead Moon Knights into one agglomerated body.
Yeah.
And Clea has to fight it.
I love the scene when her and Umar are having dinner, and Umar is just like, "Oh yeah, this. I'm so proud of you. This was all your master plan. You banged Strange so that you could eventually become Sorcerer Supreme of 2 dimensions. That's diabolical." And Clea's just drinking wine and going like, "Oh God, how do I even unpack this?"
No, I slept with Doctor Strange because I loved him. Oh, you disappoint me, daughter.
Yeah.
But then the Harvest Man shows up when she beats the bad guy. I wonder who that can be. I'm very much in the belief that's Stephen Strange. That's Stephen Strange.
May very well be.
And I think that'd be a fun little like, ooh, it's gonna happen now.
Yeah.
The next book you want to talk about is Mighty Morphin, the Powered
Yeah.
Rangers.
Mighty Morphin 19 came out last week, I believe it was. This is, of course, the conclusion to the storyline we started last issue, where Kimberly had learned about Shattered Grid again and was feeling very self-conscious about the fact that the Mighty Morphin Rangers aren't the Power Rangers. They're just a team of Power Rangers. And so she told Billy, hey, is there anything we can do to up our arsenal and make it so we'll be able to prevent things from like Shattered Grid from ever happening? And he went, yeah, here's the metallic armor. Go test it out on the holodeck. Oh no, we fucked up the morphing grid, and now there's villains from all over time and space attacking you. So of course this opens up with them immediately dealing with that, and there's a lot of fun interactions from the villains in this scene, which are, of course, Rancic from Time Force, Void Queen from Dino Fury, Trakina from Lost Galaxy, oh god, what's his fucking name? Daishi from Jungle Fury, and Sledge from, or not Dino Fury, Jungle Fury, and Sledge from Dino Charge. And they have a lot of bantering about their specific perspectives on how to deal with Rangers, and it's very fun. It reminds me of like the better Disney era team ups where you get to see the villains interacting and coming up with schemes. Like one of my favorite scenes in all of Power Rangers is just that scene where Low 4 comes to Mesogog's base in Thunderstorm. Like that is peak Power Rangers to me. But Kimberly just barely escapes from all these villains, with Tommy getting knocked out, and then she's confronted by the Pink Emissary, which is a character we have not seen yet. We'd only seen the red, blue, and yellow emissaries, and this basically establishes, like, yeah, there's an emissary for every color, and they're only going to appear when they need to. And she basically goes like, okay, you fucked up the morphing grid by trying to increase your power too much. The only way to beat them is by basically countering it with an equal charge of power. So here, I'm going to let you see what actually happened during Shattered Grid. Instead of you having just heard about it, here's a bunch of moments you had of bonding with other Pink Rangers from across time and space. And now we're going to summon them. And then we just get a scene of, if I can close this ad real quick. Kimberly teams up with every Pink Ranger to defeat this team of villains. And it's a really honestly epic and awesome scene that is the first time in my entire history of reading the Boom books that during a fight I had the theme song playing in my head. It was so much fun, and honestly just means this entire issue is fuck you, there's no such thing as too much pink energy. And of course they wrap up, and then they go back, and Kim and Tommy have a real heart-to-heart about just how things have been going lately and their relationship, and whether or not they're going to stay together. And they basically agree, like, hey, we still like each other, and we don't know what's on the horizon. Kimberly's starting to think, like, okay, there is a life after being a Power Ranger, so maybe I should focus a little more on my gymnastics. But for right now, we're just going to live in the moment and enjoy being boyfriend and girlfriend. And then they go back inside the command center, and Rocky has made a list of all the possible suffixes they could attach to their team's name. As like, hey, if we're not the Power Rangers, we need to come up with something. And Kim's like, we don't actually need to do that. But the list of names are Suffing Beast, it's covered up by a word balloon, Angel Grove, Kim and Friends, Thunder Dino, Juice Bar, Zed Hayton, Alphas, Mighty Strong, Morphtastic, Mighty, and More Phenomenal. And then the last panel is just zooming in on Mighty Morphin.
Nice. That's adorable.
Yeah. So this was a really fun issue. It's the last proper issue of Mighty Morphin before it goes back to being one book, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And it feels like a great way to go out. Like I loved this issue, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff I have to reread. Like I still love the end of Shattered Grid. I still love a Week in the Life, but this is probably the best single issue Boom has put out so far. I just absolutely flipped for this.
That's good. That's
Mm-hmm.
good. What? Are you gonna go, buddy? There we go.
Yeah.
I know we both read this. You didn't say you wanted to talk about it. We both read it. Superman, Space Age.
Oh, I thought I sent you the cover.
You might have. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I did read this. And I'm glad you told me to read this because I probably would have skipped it, assuming it was something older, just looking at the cover. But no, this is a brand new side project from Mark Russell and Mike Allred. And this feels like it's the best thing Russell has ever put out because usually I find his stuff to be way too political and way too jokey. This feels like he completely reined himself in to just tell his version of the DC universe set within the context of Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I feel like it's the closest we're ever going to get to a new version of New Frontier.
It is really good. There's some things I'm going like, Zach probably isn't the biggest fan of that. I'm specifically thinking of Batman.
I like it as a version of Batman within a continuity. I would get very mad if somebody was presenting this as like this is the new animated version of Batman or this is the new live action version of Batman.
Okay. But also, like, it's not political. It does touch upon the politics of the Cold War.
Oh yeah, but like his political stuff is usually very much this is how I feel about this current like he can get like Nick Spencer.
But yeah, basically the premise is this is the DC universe, but we open it all up with this world being destroyed by basically Crisis.
Yeah. And then we flash back to the beginning of Superman's story in this universe, and we see like I want to say the first 20 years of it in this issue. And it's a super interesting take. It's very fun and feels very much like a writer and an artist pontificating on comics they grew up on with the context of the era they grew up in, very much in the same way of Infinite or New Frontier.
Yeah, Mike Allred does amazing. Mike Allred's one of my favorite artists. How do you feel about the art? Because I don't think you've read many of his books.
I'm not a huge Allred fan, but his art works for this story fairly well. Like, I like how it makes everything flow together and have a very cohesive, kind of somber and introspective feel. Like, I like how we go from a horrific World War II flashback from Pa Kent to the fucking Kennedy assassination within like 3 pages.
Yeah. But his art is also very evocative of the 60s, but like what you remember of 60s comic book art to look like.
Mm-hmm. Also, I just love that they gave fucking Lex a scheme that's similar to the Superman the movie scheme, but fits much more in line with him being a businessman.
Yeah. It's a good version of Lex. I like this Superman. I like this Clark.
Yeah.
This Lois is also really fun.
Yeah, I love how, like, again, getting it within the context of the era. She starts off as like, oh, a woman wants to be a reporter, have her go interview crazies. And then she just happens to be in the right place at the right time, and it's like, oh shit, we have to give her real work now.
And she wins a Pulitzer, so like, okay, cool, you've actually proven you can do dope shit.
Mm-hmm.
Clark, you get the crazies, which is good for Clark because he's an empathetic soul.
Yeah, and then we get a fucking probably the best use of Pariah in a wall since the original Crisis, I'd say, and that's counting how he's being used in Dark Crisis. Like,
damn,
Dark Crisis is like working very well as a commentary on what Pariah has become in the years since. This is just like classic Pariah written well.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to tie into Dark Crisis, or do you think it's only tying into Infinite Crisis?
I think it's tying into Infinite Crisis, but it's also like setting up ideas in Dark Crisis, specifically, like the fact that we're gonna have infinite Earths again soon.
All right. Yeah, no, I really like this book. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm a Mike Allred slut, so
as soon as I saw that and realized it was something new, I was like, "Oh, it's Mike Allred. Of course, Boingo wants to read it."
I fucking love his art. What's to say? What's to say about that?
It's good art, but it feels a little too stiff for books it's in at times to me.
Yeah. It is. Mike Allred is the epitome of the American comic art pose versus the manga art movement. Manga panels look like they're moving more often than not because of the way they draw human anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only American comic artist that really gets close to that is Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
Just remember, just like go back and think about like some
Have
of this.
Have you read anything that Babs Tarr drew? Because I'd say she's in a similar position.
I don't know. I just really love the way he sketches out movement.
Okay.
The very harsh lines. Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of harsh lines, guess who writes harsh lines? Tom King. Batman.
Killing Time. It wrapped up this week. Was it this week or was it last week? I'm not sure.
It's wrapped up.
The book's over, and it's very good, and I would recommend everyone read it. I don't want to super spoil the ending, but let's just say they do some very fun stuff with Clock King, because obviously this is the issue post us finding out Clock King is the actual mastermind behind everything. And it wraps up in a fairly satisfactory and interesting way, especially because it kind of sets up that like Tom King wants to do more with certain characters. Like, nobody really dies at the end of this except for like one or two characters. Like the Help is dead at the end of this.
Yeah.
But then we also get the FBI agent that was tracking Catwoman and Riddler for the longest time. She gets shot, and then the last we see of her is she's just in physical therapy, learning to walk again and going, "Fucking Batman. Fucking Batman."
Nice.
Yeah. So Tom King definitely has more plans with her. But yeah, overall satisfactory conclusion to this series, and I'd recommend people check it out if they haven't.
Nice. Hey, I read Moon Knight number 14.
Hey, that's something I definitely didn't read. How was that?
It's the meeting of the personalities.
Oh.
Basically, Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, and Jake Lockley all have a meeting. And where basically Jake and Steve go like, Mark, we love you. You know we love you. We are here for you. We are here for you.
Deciding who's going to be a superhero this week with the boys.
No. And basically, they say, why haven't you told anybody about us? What? Why haven't you told your new assistant main character girl about us? Why was she surprised by us? I have this under wraps. Mark. Buddy. People know about us. Yes. But if I show that you are basically if I show my illness, he's afraid that he's going to lose the trust that he's very slowly building up with the therapist and the Avengers. He goes like, the Avengers are looking at me. The therapist is keeping an eye on me. I need to be on the ball and I can't show my illness. And Steven and Jake basically go like, Mark, your illness never fucked up. It wasn't me or Jake that cut off Bushman's face. It wasn't us that caused all the things with Khonshu and the War of Asgard. It wasn't us that fucked up your life. Mark, we're here for you. Mark Spector's the only one who's fucking up his life. And when we help, we make it better, Mark. Basically saying, like, Mark is trying to keep his mental illness, his neurodivergency, his mental illness, like, under wraps and handled. And Mark and Steven and Jake Lockley are basically going, like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Mark, you're just being an asshole. You know?
Yeah.
All the while, Mark is fighting a guy in real life. All this kind of stuff. All this is going through, and they're like two parallel things. And at the end, Mark goes like, "Fine, you know what? Maybe I do need to let you guys help some." So we're gonna see Jake and Steven back in action.
Dick.
Yeah. But it was a really fun conversation to read about these three personalities just bouncing off each other and going like, yeah, no, DID doesn't cause your problems. You being an asshole causes your problems. Maybe you shouldn't, like, hide and run away from your illness and actually, like, you know, acknowledge it and, like, work with it instead of just running away.
Maybe it's time to stop being a fucker, Mark.
Yeah, that's pretty much. But it's really engaging of a read, and like, there's fun moments of Mark going like, I don't, basically like, it's a liability and all that kind of stuff, and like basically his point is, the minute we look insane is the minute they're going to come for our necks. And Steve and Jake are basically going like, Mark, they know you have DID. This isn't insanity. It's just how your brain works. It's basically like, Mark, please stop having internalized ableism. Please and thank you. That's it. It's internalized ableism. It took me this long to realize what it was. But yeah, no. It's good. It's good. It's a really good, well-written conversation.
Nice.
You read DC Mech.
I sure did. This book's a lot of fun. Like I had no expectations for this, and I just felt like I'll read it because I'm the DC guy. And then like it's one of the most fun things I've read in the last week because it feels like this is written by somebody who actually really likes DC and actually really likes mecha anime and is just playing around with tropes. Because it fucking opens in, like, the 40s, and World War II is over, and the Justice Society is having a parade, because, yay, we won! And then a fucking parademon falls out of the sky, and it kicks the crap out of them. Like, instantly, in the first couple pages of this comic, Green Lantern, Alan Scott, Hawkman, and Dr. Fate just get mooped.
Ooh. Yeah,
and the rest of that. Oh no, I'm sorry. Alan Scott survives. Who's the other one that dies? I don't know. It's 3 people who die, but the survivors are Jake Eric Flash, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Shayera Hall Hawkgirl, Starman, and Wildcat. They just barely beat this thing, and they're like, we realized this was just a scout because it's not like a normal parademon. It's like 40 feet tall, and it's got a freaking arm cannon and cybernetic enhancements. So it's basically a kaiju. And they're like, okay, we realized this was just a scout, so this completely changed the way our world works. And we spent the next, we spent a long time developing robots after that. But then we immediately cut over to Krypton decades later, where Apocalypse, the planet, is just fucking eating Krypton. That's how Krypton gets destroyed in this continuity. And the L's are actual mecha pilots from Krypton. Like, we see, they're getting into their mechs and they're loading baby Superman into a mech, and freaking Orion and Big Barda are there holding off Apocalypse for them. And they get in and they start flying away, and they're like, we're gonna hold it off as long as we can while Cal's mech flies him to safety. And then Calyx comes up as a training program and is like, "Hello, Kal-El. We have quite a long time until we reach Earth. Would you like to begin the training programs based on your mom's previous missions?" Superman's mom is the ace pilot. I like that detail.
No,
And
his dad's the mechanic.
yeah, and then we cut to current day Earth, where the rogues are all in mechs robbing a bank, and I love that one of their mechs just straight up is gun tank.
Nice.
Yeah. But they get stopped by the Flash in a mech, and it's clear that this is a much younger Flash. I don't think they say his name. But he's being trained by Batman, who has a mech, and he makes a reference to the fact that his godmother and Alfred are designing the mechs for the Justice League. And it's like, who's your godmother, Bruce? What's going on there? I wonder.
Who could it be?
Especially because the narrator for most of this issue is Shiera. So I'm wondering if Shiera is Bruce's godmother in this continuity.
See, I was thinking like, oh, Krypton already has Mecha. What if it's Supergirl?
Could be. That would also be a cool take. But that's what the Batman mech looks like. It's got a big green bat symbol and stuff.
Nice.
But they're just barely able to hold their own against the rogues. And then we cut over to Apocalypse, where Rainy Goodness is basically like, yo, the scout we sent to Earth years ago, it never reported back. You want to do something about that? And Darkseid's like, yeah, that's the next planet we're going to. Why the hell didn't you tell me about this? Send all the parademons. And we cut back to Earth, where they've just barely managed to defeat the rogues. And then 3 parademons drop out of the sky, and they're like, oh fuck, this is what we've been waiting for. Are we ready for this? We gotta try. And then Superman just shows up and whips the shit out of the parademons in his mech. And he gets out and he's like, "Hello, everyone. I'm sorry if I was interrupting something. I just figured I'd help because that's what I was raised to do. I'm Kal-El, by the way. I'm from Krypton. I don't know if you guys know about that. These guys kind of destroyed my planet, so it's kind of like revenge for me. But also, I just want to help out. Is this the right language? Because like I just picked the one that seemed like the best idea. I am speaking English, right? And then Batman attacks him. He's like, "I'm sorry, I don't know the language all that well. I wasn't trying to offend you." And Batman's like, "You're a fucking alien. I'm taking you in." And that's the end of the issue.
Oof.
Yeah.
I like how they look more Super Robot than Gundam.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun, and like unlike Avengers Tech On, where I'm like, this literally just feels like you're trying to sell toys to me. This is a fun story. I will buy toys if they make toys of this.
Question: are there metahumans, or is just metahuman replaced with mecha?
No, because Flash clearly has speed powers.
It's just mecha is the best thing to add to anything.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, we're gonna be fighting kaiju eventually. Everybody's gotta have mechs.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So I read X-Men Red.
Yeah, I decided to skip out on that and Immortal X-Men this week because of the Judgment Day banner.
Well, it's gonna be important coming up later.
Oh boy.
So the granddaddy of the Eternals goes to Mars and destroys it.
Oh fuck.
99% of the population.
Fuck.
No. 99% of the population within a 50 kilometer radius of where he landed.
Okay.
So it's not the entire planet. It's just.
I was gonna say we dealt with that Araco problem pretty quick, huh, boys?
No, it's just like a large portion of the population because he landed right in the middle of the Araco Council. Okay. And he just starts wrecking shit. He fucks everybody up. The woman who can't lose, like right before Iska, right before he gets there, chops off one of their heads, and they go like, "Fuck, Iska's on the other side. Get her out of here now." Like legit, it's like, "Fuck, we got no."
Actually, now that I think about it, that feels like a bit of a cheap trick. Just get her off the playing field to make it not easy for the X-Men to win.
No, the other team to win. But it's also more of like...
But I mean, like, she switches sides, and then they have a reason to get her out of there, so it can't just be like, oh, Mars is safe because Iska's there.
Yeah, I think it's more like, it's a good warning side of like, oh shit, fucks, everything's gonna fuck. So basically everyone's powerless to beat him. He's just going like, haha, that tickles. You know, all that bullshit. He beats pretty much everybody. And like the hour elapses, he goes back to where he was because he was only allowed to do that for an hour. And you see the aftermath, it's just wreckage. And you see a couple of the Iraqi guys get up and they go like, I could only save you. And he's like, yo, dude, we can fight for another day. I understand. It's cool. And then you see this bubble of metal. And you hear Magneto speak. It's like,
oh shit.
And he's just going like, all right, we were at peacetime, which was the realm of the summer. It's now winter, and this war will be raged by the seat of loss, as Magneto has a giant hole in his chest, being held together by metal that he's just keeping onto his body as he's just writhing up, going like, I'm about to kill motherfuckers.
My dude. This book is just a stealth Magneto book.
It is, but it's great. There's also like some great moments of like, there's one bit where they say like, it's not often that Iraqi people don't use mutant circuits, which is when multiple mutant powers work in tandem together.
Uh-huh.
But Magneto is such a charismatic man. He can immediately create one with the Iraqi people because he looks at another person and goes like, "You give me metal," and he's like, "Yes," and he starts spewing metal, and Magneto starts raining it in like a goddamn fucking rail cannon, and just like, and the guy's just sitting there going like, "Wow, this is impressive. I'm still gonna fuck you up." Like, but no, Magneto got a compliment from this guy. This is a Magneto book.
Yeah.
It's really good. I also read Legion of X.
Okay.
This is just going, hey, Kurt, why do you believe in Jesus?
Kurt? A good question, mein Fräulein.
Kurt, why do you believe in Jesus? Because it looks to me like it's less about Jesus and about saving other people, even though it might empty your own soul and you feel less fulfilled in your life. You still want to be super self-sacrificial and help other people, no matter the cost. And
Has that logo always looked like Galactus, or is Galactus in this issue?
He's in this issue. He's not in this issue. It's more of just like, that's representative like gods and deities.
Okay.
So, like, you got Loki here, but Loki's not in the issue. But it's just more of like, here are some big, powerful gods to kind of represent the question of faith that we're dealing with in the book.
Yeah.
Because the conversation is done in the captions throughout the whole thing, and it's done in between Nightcrawler and the woman he's been talking to and flirting with for the past 3 issues, fucking.
Oh, jeez.
So, like, they fuck, and then there's a conversation of, like, hey, Kurt, why do you believe in gods? And he's just like, why don't you believe in gods? What's have the conversation? And then we cut to something else, and then we cut back to them, and he goes like, man, that was a good fuck. Continuing our conversation of religion. And then again, and by the end, Kurt's just
classic Christian tactics, avoid and evade the question.
And at the end, Kurt just goes like, I got a question for you. And she just goes like, God damn it, we've done it 4 times. And it's just like, no, I'm not horny anymore. Which is just fucking, he doesn't say that, but like, it's just a great fucking bit. But meanwhile, the other things that are happening is Legion basically goes and confronts his dad about Juggernaut and a bunch of other things. Like, Juggernaut goes to Professor Xavier and goes like, hey, so David said you didn't want me to help out. And Professor Xavier goes like, it's more complicated than that. And the Legion shows up. And then Professor X pulls with Professor X and he turns off Juggernaut. And, like, Legion just looks at him and goes like, real fucking classy dad turning off my uncle.
Wow.
Like he just like mind whammied him, and Legion just goes like, you know what? Fuck off, Dad. I know you're trying to do things, but like it just makes you like a real big asshole. And they also did something interesting. They drew Xavier to look more like Legion. They made him look more like they were related. But the end of the issue is Nightcrawler gets found by the god that was created. Turns out it's real fucked. It's basically a patchwork god made of tricksters of all different faiths and religion. And it's going like, I don't really exist. I'm not from a faith. I was just created. I only have one worshiper. If I don't have them, I disappear. And Kurt goes like, what if you believed in yourself? What?
Believe in the me that believes in you, buddy.
What if you started praying to yourself? And he goes like, and the god goes like, will that work? And he goes like, I don't know. I think we all need to start like appreciating ourselves more. Because he's talking about himself. It's just like, I don't focus on myself. I focus on other people, and that kind of like leaves me hollow because I don't do anything to fulfill me.
Oh,
It is not your book. It is a me book.
yeah.
Hey, we both read Amazing Spider-Man number 900.
Yeah, I honestly really like this. I don't know where people are getting off saying that this was a bad issue. I feel like this is the perfect thing to do for an anniversary special, which is just ignore all the bullshit that's going on right now and do a fun story that kind of evokes all your favorite things about the character. Like, this is just, here's a new villain is created that wants to understand Spider-Man, and it's based off of an obscure thing from an old issue, and they bring together a lot of the supporting cast and the Sinister Six for a big fun shit's happening story.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun with it.
And I like how it's like it's a different twist because Spider-Man works with the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
It's a
until
fun.
he doesn't.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's cute. I think the only thing that people might have a real big problem with is the ending.
A little bit.
Because the new status quo. Peter shacking with Black Cat.
I don't know if that's them getting together as much as it's like a happy birthday kiss.
I think I read something that's going to be the status quo.
You know what? That's not terrible considering they've been together before, and you can work with that.
I know. It's just people. It's just everybody wants one thing, and Marvel just wants to do everything in their power to not do that one thing.
Yeah, but like I was talking about this on Twitter the other day. I've kind of accepted that like that's probably just never going to happen, and even if it does, getting that status quo back isn't going to automatically make ASM good.
No,
I just want ASM to be good more than I want that specific status quo.
Here's the thing. I agree, but to me, at this point, it's like saying, yeah, no, Superman and Lois Lane shouldn't be together.
Fair enough. Though, like, also, this fucking Sinister Six Amalgam Man needs to be the next Marvel Legends Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. It's real good. It's real good. This was a fun issue. It was big, bombastic, good celebration of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I read Ghost Rider number 5.
How was that?
Basically, he gets to the thing that Johnny Blaze goes to the thing that Ghost Rider told him to, and it's a race, to get to a certain shadowy figure off in the distance, and if you get to the guy, you get a wish, basically. So a bunch of people are there.
Oh, I love Kamen Rider Ryuki.
A bunch of people are there, so like Ghost Rider's there, and Black Widow's there, and Moon Knight's there, and Doctor Doom is there. because it's basically like Ghost Rider. Johnny Blaze describes it as, this is just, people are here because they want the wish. Some people are here because they want to stop others from getting it. Some people are here because they're not afraid of gods and demons, and they're all here to basically achieve their goal. I'm here to find answers. So it's a big fun race, doing all that kind of stuff, and eventually it gets pared down, and then Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider. No, it's Johnny Blaze. He hasn't Ghost Ridered out yet. I don't think he Ghost Riders at all in this issue. I don't think he goes Ghost at all.
Also, the cover is a lot.
To an extent, it's not finished yet, the race.
Yeah,
but he drives past Wolverine, and Wolverine goes like, Johnny! Like, he hasn't seen him in forever, and Johnny's internal monologue is, a lot of people, nobody came to me when I was in a bad place. It's better to just leave them in the rearview mirror.
Basically, oh shit.
You know, it's like, he didn't come to me when I was in a bad place. Fuck it. But then shit happens, and they have to team up, and like, Johnny gets off his motorcycle and he bangs his head on the road, but all the demon shit starts coming out of the scar he has on his, like the wound he has on his head, and it's strangling him, and he just looks to Wolverine, we gotta fucking stop the race. And Wolverine's like, alright, cool, no, I'll help you out because you're my friend. And it's revealed who is behind the cloak. It's Blackheart. Yeah. Classic Ghost Rider shit. Some good Ghost Rider stuff. Hey, I read Captain America: Symbol of Truth. Did you read that?
I did read it. I don't remember much from it, honestly.
Not much happened. It was good. It was well written, but it was very decompressed.
There's a moment where Sam bitches out the leaders of Wakanda.
Yep. But we're in Latveria first, and Dr. Doom goes like, the fuck are you doing, Captain America? And he goes like, I'm not here for America. Your costume says otherwise. And basically he goes like, look, we heard some things about people smuggling vibranium. There was a lead that was coming into Latveria. I was just chasing a lead, and Dr. Doom goes like, okay, I understand. Don't do this again. Get the fuck out.
Oh yeah, and then he leaves Deadpool there, and we don't see what happens to Deadpool.
No, because Dr. Doom says, Wade, you stay. And then he goes to talk to Wakanda, and they go like, yeah, no, there's no vibranium missing. We don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Shut up. And goes like,
it's all fine, everything's fine. We had a slight weapons malfunction, but we're all good now here. How are you?
And Sam goes like, fuck this. So he uses his power as a black man to get a visa for Wakanda.
Yeah, boy. Racism.
So yeah, no, he's getting a visa to go to Wakanda so he can investigate himself.
Ooh.
It's fun. It's just very decompressed.
It feels like half an issue's worth of story.
Hey, we both read Ant-Man, #1.
I fucking loved this. This is everything I've been wanting for so long. We get a great, like, framing for an Ant-Man anniversary celebration book in this new future Ant-Man, who we're probably never going to see again after this book.
We'll see him in a Marvel Legend.
Yeah. But then we also get a classic Hank Pym Ant-Man story that feels like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby wrote it. It has that sort of different artistic throwback style. The dialogue is very much of that era. The way Hank talks about Janet is of that era. And oh my god, we did a new fucking Hank Pym story without mentioning the slap.
Well, this happened before the slap.
Exactly. And they also do the fun anniversary thing of being like, hey, Hank met Scott and Eric way before he knew he did. Isn't that cute?
Yeah. I imagine you were really annoyed by the Marvel narrative experience initiating caption boxes.
I thought that was fun.
Okay. Because it's very metatextual. It's very, like... It's very on the nose.
Mm-hmm. I also love how future Ant-Man just looks like a fucking Kamen Rider cosplay.
Yeah.
And
honestly, let's just say it. Ant-Man should look like a Kamen Rider at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like movie Ant-Man is literally just a Heisei Kamen Rider. And I love this selection of fucking G-list villains that he has to fight that are like notable Hank Pym Ant-Man villains, but nobody talks about them anymore.
Because it was when he was in Tales to Astonish.
Mm-hmm.
And they cite their sources.
Yeah.
Which is a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
The art's also fantastic.
Oh yeah. Who is the artist on this again? Let me see if I can
Something Riley.
Okay, it's not on the last page. Okay, it is. Script is by Al Ewing, art by Tom Riley. Okay.
Because they really make the future feel different than the past. That's good.
Yeah, the past like has that. As soon as you get to that panel of him arriving in the past, you see it takes on like that newsprint graining, which is a really cool effect. I'm sure it's just a filter in Photoshop, but still.
But I really like the way that like the Marvel captions go like, entering time warp, prepare for a change in visual aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like it's very like abstract storytelling. It's fun.
But no, I've never seen Tom Riley's art before, and I gotta say, he made a great first impression here. He's gonna be somebody I watch out for from now on.
Yeah. It was a good Ant-Man story. Hey, you read the new champion of Shazam.
Yeah, this completely blindsided me. I don't remember seeing this get announced at all, but it was a welcome surprise. It's number one of a 4-issue miniseries that is basically, hey, remember that stuff in Teen Titans Academy where Billy went on an adventure to try and fix his Shazam powers and ended up getting locked in the Rock of Eternity? Well, somebody's still got to be the champion of Shazam. So why not Mary? Mary is now officially Shazam. She's not just Mary Marvel anymore. And this feels like a big sort of like coming out moment for her because there's a lot of delving into what her character has been, where it's going, and who she wants to be because this is her going off to college and kind of having a lot of those kind of like cringy college story stereotype things of meeting the roommates and being super impressed by them. Like she's no longer a big fish in a small pond and she's trying to reinvent herself and make herself sound cool. And then superhero shit happens and it just makes her look like a weirdo. But she gets a big awesome fight with her powers. And then she goes back to her dorm at the end of the issue and we find out that her foster parents are missing and that apparently is going to be the driving force for the rest of the story. And I really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was super cute. I'm gonna read at least the next issue of this and see where it goes. It's only 4 issues, so I'll probably finish it. Yeah. But yeah, this is also the first thing I've ever read that was written by Josie Campbell. But they have a very charming voice for Mary. I forgot her name for a split second there. And this is the second ever thing I've seen that's drawn by Doc Shaner, and I actually like how it looks better than Human Target. I think this is like really good Doc Shaner art.
Nice.
So yeah, everybody check this out if you're at all interested. I would say.
You also read Rogue Sun, issue 6.
I sure did. This is basically the finale for the opening story of Rogue Sun. So if you're not aware. In the last issue, we had a big confrontation where we found out that the mom was the killer, and we got to deal with her. And this whole issue is really just a big argument, a big family squabble where Rogue Sun is trying to figure out what to do, and eventually he just decides, all right, fine, I gotta do it for justice. I gotta bring my mom in, And she the whole time is going like, you have to understand, I did what I did for your own good, and I still love you and all that. And he's like, nah, you're still going into crystal prison. And Dad, we found your killer, so you can fuck off to the spirit realm now. Leave me the hell alone. And he does it despite having protesting that he has plenty more to teach him. And then his stepmom is like, "Hey, you have nowhere to go now, so if you want, you can move in with us." And his step siblings are like, "Are you fucking kidding me? He's fucking living with us now. This is bullshit." And we get like this beautiful sequence where we see that like all these people live under the same roof, but they just feel totally alone. And that's the status quo for the series going forward, because after that we just get like a scene of him going to school and trying to do the right thing but still being a bit of a bully, and then trying out his powers one last time to check if his dad's still there, and he's not, and he just flies off. And yeah, opening arc of Rogue Sun, I'd say, is pretty solid. If you're gonna give it a shot, check it out when the trade comes out. It might be for you, it might not. I liked it. I'm definitely gonna keep reading it for the foreseeable future.
Nice. What else? You read Detective Comics?
Mm-hmm. Jesus, can't catch your breath tonight. Detective Comics, much like Batman, has a fresh creative team of Rom V and oh god, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last name. But yeah,
Albuquerque?
Yeah, it is
because that looks like Albuquerque.
Yeah, Raphael Albuquerque is this dude's name. Apparently,
it's not Albuquerque, but
yeah, but I don't want to get super into everything that happens in this because it is a fairly complicated first issue. There's a lot of like gothic mythic stuff going on. This feels like a Legends of the Dark Knight arc, honestly, so far. There's a cool moment where Talia shows up and is like, "Hey, shit's coming, and you need to be ready for it, Batman." And he's like, "Fuck off, ex-wife." And then he goes back to his makeshift Batcave that he's currently using, and he's like, "I was slower out there tonight. I don't know what's going on. I must have been poisoned or something." And Nightwing's like, "Dude, maybe you're just getting old. Like, maybe you need to deal with that." And I get the feeling that that's going to be a major theme of this story going forward. Because there's also a scene where he has a nightmare about a bat and stuff like that. And there's these like very ornate looking villains, this like family of villains that are coming to Gotham. And I don't quite know what they're about, but very, very interesting starts. If you've ever wanted to check out Detective Comics, now seems like a decent time, because I've heard good things about Rom V, and like, this isn't my Batman, but I get the feeling this is someone's Batman. So definitely give it a shake if you haven't.
Nice. You also read Dark Crisis.
Oh boy! Okay.
I'll give you. Let's give back a second to get a drink. You get that yummy water in your mouth, back. Get that yummy water.
It's not so much that I need water. It's just like my tongue needs a break. You know what I mean?
Oh, your tonguing needs a break?
Shut the fuck up already.
No. I will say whatever suspicious thing I need to say to make fun comedy.
Oh, Jesus. But hang on, I'm just flipping through and checking things, because this is very much like an issue of vignettes of shit happening as we're prepping for the actual story of the Dark Army coming to this universe to kick off, which I feel like it's weird that we're still doing that in issue 3. That's like my biggest complaint with this issue, is we're at issue 3, and I feel like we're at halfway through issue 2 in the story I would write. But basically, we open on the Titans. We're kind of just hanging out in the hospital, waiting to hear news from the doctors about how Beast Boy is doing, and like Nightwing is super broken up about it, and everybody's kind of trying to catch their breath. Like, apparently Red Hood and Arsenal are going to be doing a thing to find Arsenal's kid. There's a brief mention of the Young Justice tie-in, just to like barely justify it. And then we see Black Adam trying to train the new Justice League and being like, "You're not strong enough. You're not willing to do what it takes. You won't kill villains, and that's why the original Justice League died. You need to be willing to do that." And everybody with remotely a conscience is like, "You're fucking crazy. What the hell is wrong with you?" And then Yarn Floor Wonder Girl shows up and just chews him out. She's like, "I heard what's going on. I'm sorry I blew you off earlier, John. We're gonna be a team now." And then they walk, and then like everyone else kind of clears out because they're a little disillusioned about what's happening. So it's just Damien, John, and Yara, and they're kind of on the steps of the Hall of Justice, being like, "Oh man, what are we gonna do?" And then you just see from off panel, "Well, son, if a league won't work, how about a society?" And then Alan Scott's there with the entire Justice Society. So that's a nice little moment.
Nice.
But then we cut away to Rose Wilson confronting Deathstroke and being like, "Dad, what the fuck is going on? You're acting like a jackass again. Knock it off." And he basically reveals that he's being controlled by the Great Darkness, and she's like, "Oh shit!" And then she gets captured. And then we see the Green Lanterns at what they think will be the gate to go see and stop Pariah, and Hal and Joe. Or not Hal, Kyle and Joe go through as scouts, and they just immediately get their shit wrecked by Pariah. And we don't see what's happening. Hal goes through to try and help them, and he immediately gets like crisis disintegrated and wakes up on an Earth where everyone's a Green Lantern.
Huh.
And he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And that's where we leave him. And then the last page and a half of the book is Black Adam goes to the Legion of Doom for help, because he's like, the Justice kids won't listen to me. Somebody's got to shore up the Earth and stop this army of darkness. And Lex Luthor's like, "Well, sounds like a job for someone I know."
Is he in a Superman suit?
No, he's in his power armor, but you get the intention is he's like, "I'm Superman now." Ha ha ha.
Yeah. That's because I was remembering that thing.
Yeah.
We both read Zdarsky Batman 126.
Yeah, I really like this, mainly because it acknowledges the fucking Bat family way more than Tom King's run ever did. Like, that was my one complaint with Tom King's run, is it largely ignored the Bat family except for a couple of characters. But
and then this is basically like, "Oh man, I'm really proud of these guys. Oh man, they do a lot of good shit. Oh fuck, someone's hurting them. Run away, go stop fighting it. I want to protect you."
Yeah, which is like Batman writing you don't see too often in comics right now. So that was very refreshing and fun. And I like that Failsafe just seems to be a robot man. Like, he's not anything special. He's not like some weird thing from the past that's going to blow things open. It's just not, this thing is here and it's scary, and Bruce has got to deal with it. And
you say that, but then the last couple pages.
Yeah, fucking Batman of Zur-En-Aw is back. Who saw that coming?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, Bruce Wayne's going like, "Yo, I don't remember a failsafe, and I have a photographic memory. Fuck, I wiped my memory of something. I have no idea what's going on. I need to reboot my brain. I know how to reboot my brain. I need to be Zur-En-Aw."
Get Leslie Tompkins in on this shit. Which also, it's probably the youngest I've ever seen Leslie Tompkins depicted as. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. I just really like the idea that he just sees this problem and goes like, "Oh shit, he's coming after me. My family's in the way. They're going to get hurt. I need to run because they'll chase me."
Also, like, the Catwoman backup remains pretty solid. I like the introduction of Cobblepot's kids and them obviously being as much a shithead as he was.
I didn't read the backup. I'll go back and read that.
Okay, yeah, it's worth your time.
But I also like Nightwing showing up. Nightwing showing up was fun.
Yeah.
Like, all of the Bat family was really fun to see.
It's been a good year to be a Nightwing fan. Because he's in He's in this. He's in Detective, and he's got a great solo book going on right
Suck it, Paul Dini.
now.
Is that the last book? Yeah, that's the last book.
The last book. We did it. We did comics.
We did comics, everybody. Boy, did that fucking go a while.
Mm-hmm.
Is this show just gonna be 3 hours from now on?
I guess.
Please,
Man.
no.
I love how I literally went, I'm gonna fucking go on vacation because we just had SDCC. So there won't be too much happening while I'm gone. And then I get back and it's like, hey, Michelle Nichols died and DC imploded.
Jesus.
Also all the toys. Look at all these neat toys.
Hey, you want to tell the people where they can find you?
Hey, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos about tokusatsu. I've got a new video in the planning stages already, but
pre-production.
I'm not too ready to say what it is just yet. But you can go check out my
production.
Go check out my backlog. It's at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. I'm also on Twitter, tweeting and twitting about every little thought that pops into my head at the Vacuuminator, and I'm on Instagram posting action figure photography at the underscore Vacuuminator. Excuse me, it's late.
You're good. Hey, howdy. I'm Boingo Writer. I do a variety of things on the internet. Twitch.tv/Boingo Writer. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Boingo_Writer. I'm also do stuff on YouTube at, guess what? A Boingo Writer. Funny how that happens. Just search for it and you'll find a variety of video essays and whatnot. But this is Modular Media, where we do a variety of podcasts, including this very one that you just listened to. We also have components where we we shoot the shit.
Yeah.
And then there
occasionally we talk to new people about what they do.
Yeah. And then there's also Twit. You want to tell the people about Twit?
But hey, do you like the things that these toys come from? Well, that's Twit. We talk about those. It's going to be a lot of Kamen Rider news to go over this week. Jesus Christ.
Yep. Hey, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Help us out. Share these podcasts if you think people would enjoy them. Don't share it with a person you don't think would enjoy it. Like, engage it.
Yeah, don't show this to your racist grandpa.
Or show it to your racist grandpa if you want to piss him off.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we're woke for an old racist grandpa.
A little bit, yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I just want to not be worried about something I like for like 6 months at a time. That would be really nice.
Enough said.